Goo. Do the live feed theme, you knob. Okay. Okay, good day, people. TJR here, back again with another live video. And this is my Nitwit half counterpart, RJT. How's it going, eh? Welcome to yet another live feed. And today, talking about music. New episode. Upcoming episodes. A series I'm going to do. Well, I'm glad to see that, all of you coming from JCM. I'm going to keep the rock and roll feed going with some more Q&A about rock and roll here. If you're interested, welcome aboard. I have a new episode up right now on The Game by Queen, which I also dissect the Flash Gordon soundtrack. I go over that one. And the live Queen Rock Montreal document from 81, the audio, that is. I could do, hey, Tora, how's it going, eh? Good to see you here. Could have these mods. Don't have any of those those hosers try and pick a fight with me, eh? And yeah, a new episode up on Queen on The Game. And I'm doing better. I'm slowly recuperating. I had a back injury on the 4th of July cleaning my room. Then I pinched a nerve in my neck Monday night in my sleep. So I've been having a hard time. Getting old sucks. I don't want to be 49 years old. I want to be in my 20s again. But again, Father Time has other ideas. And trying to get people to watch the newest episode on The Game by Queen, which is a phenomenal album. And yeah, I dissect that album, yeah. And it's a complicated story with that album. I don't hate it. It's my favorite 1980s album by Queen. But I did this review already 3 times. First with my old podcast, Rock and Metal Combat, back in 2014. And I went back and listened to that. I was like, what the hell was I thinking? Well, what happened was I used too much profanity back then. And listening to it now, I'm like, God, I needed to grow up. Good thing I did. Eventually, I wound up leaving that show after the co-host who basically hated the album. And he was just a mean, nasty human being. I don't mean to take shots at people, but Ian Wadley, yeah, that's his name, a.k.a. Wadzilla, had some harsh things to, hey, Lizard, how's it going, eh? Those who just came over from JCM's feed over to mine, I'm going to keep the music feed going. Oh, really? How many trolls are there that are going to try and pick a fight with me here? Tora, can you get rid of Iker? Well, sex, drugs, and rock and roll go hand in hand like wine, women, and song, Colin. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Whitesnake had a song called Wine, Women, and Song on the Come and Get It album. I'm in the good old United States of America. Massachusetts, the Bay State. Now I'm learning that both political parties are a joke. Blue Sky, how's it going, eh? Talking about the history of the why I had to record The Game a 3rd time. The Game episode. So I recorded with Rock Metal Combat back in 2014, my penultimate episode, and before I wound up leaving after the recording of the No Prayer for the Dying, Fear of the Dark episode. The drunk guy claimed I was fired, but I was actually quitting. I decided to quit after the recording. I thought he was pulling my chain. He was drunk. And arguing with a drunk is very hard, folks. And then him saying, put your father in a chokehold to wear a wig. So I said, you know what? I can't take this anymore. I'm leaving. So I quit. And then a year later, the same nitwit took a shot at my mother, who said she faked her death. Oh, yes, he did. He told me to put my father in a chokehold. I'm not putting my hands on an elderly parent. I'm sorry his dad died back in 95, but you don't have to be a jerk to me. Don't take your furor out on yours truly because I still have a father. And I take care of my father, and he's my life and my love. He's my bloodline. He's my lifeline. And then him saying my mother faked her death and she's in hiding in shame because of me. who the hell was he to be judge, jury, and executioner? Because when I hear his voice now, I look at him as if he's the devil incarnate. The other co-host, who doesn't like me anymore, his name is almost human 56, aka Ralph Vieira. I lament our friendship sadly took a hit because of Ian, and my stupidity with falling out with him was over posting a nightmare on his Facebook page, which I shouldn't have done during COVID, but I did. He took it the wrong way, and then all of a sudden he started saying things about me, which I was devastated. Because never in my wildest dreams would I have ever imagined him and his group of people saying things about me and my family and my friends. Downloading my episodes, making parody of it, making fun of me. Now I went back and listened to everything I did with those guys, and I'm like, God, was I really trying hard to be like those guys? And then for a number of years, I was like floating, trying to distance myself from them, but it was so damn difficult trying to find new people. It's all right, Tora, do the best you can, but I got a couple of mods in here who will throw out the troublemakers. And then I did it again as a Terrence Reardon and Friends episode, but again, too many profanities, and it was too short. I was like, nah, I could do better. Ah, boy. Can someone get rid of Adrian, please? I'm not a rap show. I'm a rock and roller. So get your rapping ass off my video so I can concentrate on rock and roll. Because on this channel, there's no bro country. There's no rap hip hop bullshit. There's no Ted Nugent after 1978. No Meatloaf. No Bon Phony. And no Sammy fucking Hagar allowed. Fuck you, Adrian. Get the fuck off my feed, bitch. Noah Stewart, take your ass and get the fuck off my feed with that rap shit. You put the letter C before rap, you got my exact opinion. God, I sound like Stone Cold Steve Austin when I say that. So I'm trying to talk rock and roll here and plug my newest episode that's been up for 2 days. No, I don't do that edit. Get the fuck out of here, Adrian, you bitch. I don't put up with bullshit assholes like you. I was bullied by the Rock Metal Combat, so I have a zero tolerance for bullying. I apologize. This is, I'm trying to do this. I am a rock and roll show, not rap. No, I accept your apology. I don't do rap. I hate it. Adrian, you're gone. Get the fuck out of here. I apologize. I don't mean to swear, folks, but it's just I don't take... God, I sound like Yosemite Sam. Girly Pop, if you're an AI bot, get the hell out of here. If you're a fan, hello. Curtis Knight, whatever. Lamar Jackson sounds like a rapping name to me. Tristan, how's it going? Curtis, who gives a rat's ass what Lamar Jackson is? He's probably Kendrick Lamar's bitch. Yeah, Kendrick Lamar and that other piece of shit, SZA, whatever she fucking calls herself. All that rap shit. I'm a rock and roll show trying to talk rock music, not rap crap bullshit. Now take your Lamar Jackson quotes, get your ass out of here so I can talk about rock and roll. Sprunky, you're gone. Don't you ever say anything harsh about my dead mother. Comprende, dickhead? I apologize, folks. It's just I don't tolerate with these morons who are trying to provoke me into screaming, turning into Sam Kinison. Girly Pop, good. Tristan, thank you very much. John Bonfoni, pooey, that's what I think of John Bonfoni. To quote Kurt Cobain, he was an untalented piece of shit. A Big Papa Dump, take a walk. Girly Pop, TJR, Terrence Joseph Reardon. Sprunky, you go fuck yourself, you dumb Pollock son of a bitch. Oh boy. Yeah. Disturbed. Oh, the lead singer who sounds like Alex Jones's bitch. David Draymond. Oh, screw me up the ass, Alex. Oh, sure I will, Draymond. Oh, you was not done with it. Like, my throat. Shit. I'm hanging in there. Yeah, I'm getting rid of Spunky here. Spunky, you're gone. My heart goes out to you, Angelica. How's it going? Bradley, my heart, thoughts, and prayers go with you, man. Flash floods suck. And I'm trying to talk about the new episode that's up. I want people to check it out. It's on The Game by Queen, plus the Flash Gordon soundtrack. Excuse me. Noah, my favorite bands are Pink Floyd, Rush, Led Zeppelin, Kiss, Iron Maiden, or Led Zeppelin, Maiden. My back is getting better, Blue Sky. Thank you for asking. Now it's my neck, because I twist my neck sleeping. Getting old sucks. And I wonder which better than some people. Well, I'm trying to do this rock and roll thing and talk about the show, but it's very hard when you're dealing with a bunch of nitwits who don't know what the hell they're doing. And today I was just finishing up getting the visuals for the AC/DC episode on Back in Black, which I'm going to air probably in a few days or next week, whichever comes first. Yeah, I will be doing a Kiss episode. In fact, I have Destroyer in the vault waiting to be edited because, the deluxe edition came out a number of years ago and I saw Kiss more than 4 times. Rock is not dead, it's just in hibernation. Rap is dead. Bro country is dead. Bro country is not even country, dude. Ricky Rogers, I am not a fan of SJW swinging from a tree, eating coconuts and bananas. Yeah, and rapping like, God, screw rap. It's SJW horseshit, if you ask me. Rock and roll is alive. You just got to turn off the television and turn off the lamestream media, and you'll find a lot of great rock and roll bands out there. There's Mirador, there's Rival Sons, there's Matt Gilmore, the son of Pink Floyd veteran David Gilmour, JCM, of Led Zeppelin stories. He's got a few albums out. He's great. So there's still some things. There's just, you can blame the son of a bitch Clinton for screwing up rock and roll for us. Blame, I tried, but I didn't inhale, you stupid redneck motherfucker. You got that right, Brutus. Real rock doesn't get pushed. It gets pushed aside for all this SJW horse shit. Lauryn Hill, the famous hip-hop chick who complained about Whitey. I'd rather my baby starve than Whitey buy my records. Well, shut the fuck up. Whitey made you rich. I apologize for swearing, folks, but I have every privilege to say what I got to say about that. I mean, when you've heard one rapper, you heard them all, dude. And I looked at NWA back in the day as like a Richard Pryor record. I didn't take that shit seriously. If you're brought up properly and you're raised properly, you have a wired brain like mine of autism spectrum disorder, you're going to know the difference between fantasy and reality. Only a kid who's already screwed up by his parents or his environment's going to take what they do literally to do damage to themselves or somebody else. I mean, Trista, how's it going? And I want to see held for review. Oh my God. I don't sing the national anthem. Well, I don't live in the South. The Southerners are a bunch of racist pieces of shit. And I lived in the South for 6 years. And I was bullied, harassed, called a Satanist because of my bald head, called a Nazi, said I was going to hell for listening to Iron Maiden. So dealing with these dispensationalist morons, they make me sick. But I digress. Anyway, I got the AC/DC episode coming up soon on Back in Black. I just got to put the visuals together. Supertramp, Famous Last Words, which I have that as well. Kyber. To quote Chris Jericho, may I ask you, no, may I beg you, would you please shut the hell up? Little Bumblebee, take a hike. Braylon, merci. Thank you very much on my rock and roll channel, pushing my show, my podcast, my video cast, whatever you want to call it. It's a podcast because I have also on Spotify, iTunes, whatever. Because I am trying to become the biggest classic rock albums podcast in history. And I'm going to work my ass off to get to the top of the mountain, to become the king of album podcasts. Trying to read. Pantera from Dallas. Well, Phil Anselmo was from New Orleans. The Abbott brothers are both dead. Yeah. Americans don't understand a thing. Ivan Nova. Are you some troll, some bot who's trying to provoke me into having a pissing contest with your ass? If so, don't fuck with me. I just don't take anyone's bullshit, all right? I mean, I don't take anyone's crap. Joel George, what do I think of Wish You Were Here? That's my favorite Pink Floyd album. As a matter of fact, I will be re-airing an episode I did on that album a number of years ago. In fact, I'm thinking of re-recording the damn thing. And my second favorite Pink Floyd album of all time is, this may be controversial, but remember, it's timing, folks, The Division Bell. Because that was the only album that was released that I was prepared for as a teenager. Because I've been listening to Pink Floyd my entire life. The Division Bell is my second favorite Pink Floyd album. My two favorite Floyd tracks of all time are all 9 sections of Shine On You Crazy Diamond and High Hopes. Echoes, Comfortably Numb, Us and Them are in the top 5. And then I also put Summer 68 in the top 10. Yeah, a lot of people like, oh, how can you not like Animals? How can you? I'm like, I do, but it's just the 1970 to 75 era of Pink Floyd was the best. That was when Roger Waters' lyrics and drive, coupled with the music of David Gilmour and Richard Wright, was perfectly balanced. Animals was when Roger started to go completely on his power trip. That's what happened when he got married to his second wife. He started to distance himself from the rest of the band. And even Rick Wright said that Animals was where the band feeling was gone. The Wall, if it hadn't been for Bob Ezrin and David Gilmour, it would have been a Roger Waters solo record. Gilmour and Ezrin made that a Pink Floyd album. Not for them, it wouldn't have been a Pink Floyd album. Thanks be to Gilmour and Ezrin. The final cut was kind of in listen to it now, it's like pure dated 1980s. Too English, too 1982, 83-ish for my current taste, lyrically speaking. Whereas the Styx album Kilroy Was Here, which was released just a month later, that was reverse. Musically of the time, lyrically ahead of the curve. In fact, the album is more that album is more prophetic than the final cut. The final cut, you know, once you name bomb Margaret Thatcher, Ronald Reagan, it sounds. Yeah, I listen to it now. I'm like, God. I remember when they were the leaders of those nations, of England and America, respectively. In fact, America was getting out of the worst recession it was in when the final cut came out. And it was too British for the American Pink Floyd fans. Yeah, Roger Waters has been married 5 times. David Gilmour, only twice. He's been married to his current wife for almost 31 years. Bless him. Nick Mason, his current wife, he's been with her for over 30 some odd years. So he's another one of them who's kept the second marriage going for a long time. John Deacon from Queen. He's been married to the same woman now for over half a century. Dennis DeYoung of Styx has been married to his wife for 55 years. And he's been with her since 1964. So Dennis and John were one of the few in the world that kept their marriages going, and it survived the hectic life of the rock and roll game. In fact, to Dennis's credit, Dennis brought his wife and kids on tour with him during the height of Styx's success. And people were like, oh, Dennis ruined Styx. No, 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 no. He was the compos mentis member of the band, as was JY. They were both practically drug free. It's just Tommy Shaw got caught up in the sex, drugs, rock and roll thing, which eventually, to say the least, ruined his judgment. John Panazzo was drinking like a fish. And Chuck Panazzo was playing with fire with his lifestyle choices, which I really didn't condone, but you can't control people. You can only control yourself, I guess. Let's see. It's just very hard to find marriages that lasted long in the rock and roll game. Greg Lake, up until his dying day, was married to the same woman. It's a shame he passed away. Yeah, I want to know that, Brutus. Iggy Pop, Ace Frehley, and Keith Richards. Those three things will outlive us all. I mean, and when the nuclear bombs are hit, only those three are going to still be alive. Cockroaches, Iggy Pop, Ace Frehley, and Keith Richards. Those three outlasted everything. I mean, Ace and Keith and Iggy, they OD'd more than once or twice. Yeah, John Lennon. You know, it's a shame that he got assassinated. I still think it was an inside job, to be honest with you. Lennon was, he redeemed himself at the end of his life. To all those clowns like my former podcast, Rock Metal Combat. Oh, he who beat his wife, he treated his kid like crap. I'm like, hey, he was in his 20s, all right? Once he got remarried and Yoko came into the picture, he became a changed man. Especially when his son Sean was born, he became a changed man. People can change. Some for the better, some for the worse. Lennon was a better man in the last 5 years of his life. Stevie Ray Vaughan, another example. He was a coked out alcoholic big time until he was puking up blood. And then he went into rehab. The last 4 years of his life, he was playing with fire, sober. He was clean, sober, smoke free, drug free, you name it, alcohol free, 12-step man. He had a renewed purpose. And he was about to become the ultimate guitar god. But unfortunately, that helicopter he should never have gotten into. Steve Miller, who lived in that area for many years, knew that Alpine Valley was not a place to take helicopters at night. He said Stevie Ray Vaughan should have taken a car, a limousine, or a van to the hotel in Chicago 90 minutes away. A 90-minute drive, so what if you get stuck in traffic, you'll be safe and sound. Helicopters, no way. If a helicopter gets hit, you're screwed. And then Stevie Ray Vaughan's death was more tragic than when Jimi Hendrix died, because when Jimi Hendrix died, he was pretty much a junkie. His life was falling apart. He was a mess. And then when Stevie Ray Vaughan died, that was even more tragic because he was clean, focused, ready to become the guy. And there's not ever been another guitarist who could match him since. And Jordan, I don't speak Spanish. Yeah, Kobe Bryant met the same fate, Sarah. Yeah, him dying, he died the same way that Stevie Ray Vaughan died 3 decades before, helicopter crash. In Stevie Ray Vaughan's case, flying in a helicopter in fog was not such a good idea. In fact, if he had taken the car instead of the helicopter, he'd still be alive today and kicking everyone's ass with a guitar. And more guitarists would be out there kicking ass and taking names, Chuck Norris style. And Stevie Ray Vaughan's best album was made when he was sober, In Step. And he was about to release a second album when he passed on. That was Family Style with his brother Jimmy. It's a shame that we, and I know the Dennis Leary joke. We should put, they should put John Bon Jovi in a helicopter. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's one of the strangest dichotomies. He outlived Kurt Cobain. And I'm not a Kurt Cobain fan, mind you, but I have respect for the guy. especially after what Ted Nugent once said about Kurt Cobain. He was a weenie, and I'm glad he's dead. Nugent's just angry. I mean, Nugent's career, his comeback with Damn Yankees died because of Nirvana. I think that's why he said that, because he was jealous that Nirvana came along, gave rock and roll sort of a kick in the ass that it needed. Kind of the same way that punk did it 15 years. You got that right. No one should be flying in fog. Ever. And they shouldn't be flying in thunderstorms either. Because Bad Company, the song Evil Wind on Desolation Angels, actually was inspired by the band flying to concerts in their 707 over thunderstorms. In a commercial airliner won't take off in a normal circumstance. They're like, oh, we ain't going up there. And Black Rock, if you're one of those bots that are trying to pick a fight with me, get the hell out of here, Black Rock, you prick. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, so the Evil Wind, the song from Bad Company, they were about to board their Vickers Viscount, and they'd be flying over thunderstorms, and the pilots would be like, we ain't going up there. And then their co-manager, Clive Colson, grabbed the hold of the pilots and said, we're getting on the fucking plane. And the band was like, oh my God. And they had some dangerous flights, quite frankly. And yeah, some bands would take off normal. Other bands are like, fly come hell or damnation. 707s. I mean, the only type of 707 type plane crash was the Leonard Skinner crash. But that was a faulty, that had a faulty engine, though. And then Ronnie Van Zant, who had an eerie premonition, said he wasn't going to make it to C-30. The man knew his destiny. He said, if it's your time to go, it's your time to go. And if I'm going, you can kiss my ass goodbye. And the plane ran out of gas because it had a faulty, it was leaking gas. I guess Skinner were not, couldn't afford to fly a plane like Led Zeppelin, who had Caesar's Chariot. Prior to that, it was the Starship. The Eagles had the Party Plane. Pink Floyd had Algae, which was their 707 on the Animals tour, which had the pig on the front of the plane, painted on the front fuselage of the nose of the plane, was the pig from the Animals tour, the Animals album. Who the hell is Washington from Hamilton? I don't know. I don't watch TV. I don't watch Television. I don't want to become like the guy on the Remote Control album from the Tubes, sticking my head into a television, turn my head into a television head. Yeah, one of the best albums out there. One of the best concept albums, I might add. Yeah, just talking about. I don't like Broadway. I don't like Broadway. I don't. Broadway's for sausage jockeys. Yeah, I said it. And I'm not a sausage jockey, dude. I'm attracted to pie and coconuts. Or pie and watermelons. Yeah, I hate Broadway. Rock operas are different. I'd rather listen to rock operas. Like Tommy, Quadrophenia, The Wall, The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. Kilroy Was Here. Rock opera. A rock opera is better than a musical. Steely Dan. Actually, I have a love-anger relationship with that band. I love a lot of their music, but then some of their music makes me angry. Ham fan, go back to Allah Akbar. And get back to me when you can speak Islam. Broadway, aha. Shut up about Broadway. Home at Last, great tune. On one of the episodes of WKRP in 1980, they had two Steely Dan songs on it. One was Peg, and the other, I think, was Josie. On that same episode, they had the Rolling Stones' She's So Cold, AC/DC, You Shook Me All Night Long. Man, oh man, that show, they played all the goods. The movie FM, they couldn't get all the good bands on it. Oh yeah, when the movie FM was made, some of those bands weren't even that big yet. And oh yeah, they didn't have the balls to play any Pink Floyd or Supertramp in that movie. Oh yeah, they couldn't play dogs because it was a 17-minute. Oh, KRP did. That was one of the best episodes of KRP. The turkeys away. Most people know about the turkeys flying, but my favorite scene was the dog scene where Johnny Fever was zoned out listening to dogs from Pink Floyd's Animals. Man, oh man. And then there was another episode where they used a lot of Elvis Presley because Elvis was the king. Oh my goodness. Any episode that had Elvis playing was kick ass. Jailhouse Rock, and then they played Don't Look Back by Boston. Another episode they played Teach Your Children by already discussed Chicago. I'll bring them up again, Blue Sky, in a moment. Teach Your Children by Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, and the next thing he played, Johnny Fever, was Return to Sender by Elvis. Return to Sender. Oh, and now the long version. Return to Sender. Oh my goodness. How can anyone hate Elvis Presley? He was the king. Long live the king. Elvis. Oh, my garage. Yeah. The Kinks, Rock and Roll Fantasy on that same episode. Hold the Line, Toto. That show, they played a lot of great rock and roll on that show. Styx, Jerry Lee Lewis, Freddie King, I'm Torn Down. The Doors, Alabama Song, and Light My Fire. Chicago. Everything up through Hot Streets is good. Yeah, one of my favorite songs on that album was Little Miss Lovin', which kind of was like what would happen if Led Zeppelin had a horn section and Barry Gibb singing backing vocals, which is actually true because it's Barry Gibb singing harmonies on Little Miss Lovin'. And Donnie Dak is doing a brilliant bottleneck slide solo. And the song just kind of has that Led Zeppelin swagger. It could have fit on a Led Zeppelin album, musically speaking. But Peter Cetera didn't have the Robert Plant-esque unique coolin', woman I ain't foolin'. Because it sounds like a cross between Whole Lotta Love and Nobody's Fault But Mine, that sort of swagger there. And then and with the horns added and Barry Gibb's castrati backing vocals. Oh man. And I do like Chicago 16. Hello, UO. How's it going, eh? WKRP, the turkeys from Helicopter. Oh yeah. That was one of my favorite episodes from the first season. That's the episode that saved the show. If your show was saved by an episode that had Pink Floyd, Creedence Clearwater Revival, and Joe Cocker in it, you knew you were going to survive for a number of years. Yeah, Dogs. I forgot the Joe Cocker tune, and It Came From the Sky was Creedence. Good old Creedence Clearwater. How can anyone hate Creedence Clearwater Revival? UUO, how's it going, eh? Supertramp was featured on an episode. The Eagles were The Long Run. And then on this third season, it was on one episode, Devo, Stevie Wonder, The Who, Deep Purple, and The Cars. I'm doing okay, UUO. And then, of course, another KRP episode, quite a few of them had the Beatles, but they were excised out of the later airings because they didn't want to pay Paul McCartney and John Lennon a lot of money. The Beatles were kind of a ball buster. They're publishing, I should say. Do I like Wings, the band? The answer is yes. Their my favorite album is, yeah, Lonnie Anderson was a cutie. Excuse me. Both Bailey and Lonnie, Jan Smithers and Lonnie, were both hot back then. I mean, a lot of women in the late 70s, going into the early 80s, they didn't have to have tattoos like most female celebs now. They were just natural beauties. Another case in point was, yeah, Arrow Through Me, great track. Band on the Run, great track. 1985, great track. The live album's amazing. Back to the Egg is an underappreciated album. I love that album. Old Siam Sir, my favorite rocker on that record. Getting Closer, another great song. But yeah, and some people said these three could have been triplets in late 79, early 1980. Yeah, I do like the brunette myself. Oh, Georgie. The Killing of Georgie. Sorry, but I don't want to respond to a jerk. Anyway, in 79, 80, these people said these three looked identical. Stevie Nicks, Carrie Fisher, and Linda Blair. Linda was the youngest of the three, and by that point, Linda had kicked drugs, thank goodness for that, and was with Tommy Shaw from Styx, her first relationship with a rocker, clean and sober, except Tommy was doing drugs behind her back. Carrie Fisher was a hottie back then, but unfortunately lost her to drugs. And Stevie Nicks was quite cute at that point, but a spaced out cadet. And apparently, from the three, Linda turned out to be the kindest and prettiest one of the three in real life. Thank goodness for that. Because we lost Carrie a number of years ago. She was funny, but couldn't kick her demons of drugs and alcohol, sadly. Heart attack induced by drugs. Remember, kids, don't do drugs. Sir Namaste, if you're one of those bots from AI trying to sell me some gay porn, get the hell off my feed. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. Anyway, Junior's Farm, great song. I should have been on Venus and Mars, but I don't know what the hell Paul McCartney was thinking. Dropping the ball on, what do you call it? Yeah, Paul dropped the ball on not including Junior's Farm on, what do you call it? Venus and Mars. That was an okay record, but after Band on the Run, kind of a letdown. Wings at the Speed of Sound was okay, had its moments, but they should have included the version of Beware My Love with John Bonham on drums. That was ass-kicking. I mean, Paul McCartney then, hey, Venger, how's it going, my man? How's it going? I'm talking about my new episode up on YouTube, which is The Game by Queen. And how much I love that album. How can anyone hate Brian May, John Deacon, Roger Taylor, and Freddie Mercury? The original four that was Queen. It's the only Queen that matters. The Game and Flash Gordon. And I have an episode I'm working on for Back in Black. That'll be up in a few days. Then I got Famous Last Words by Supertramp after that. And I'm also now in the midst of doing the Kilroy Was Here / Caught in the Act. Styx 1983-84 episode. Because I'm doing a little mini-series. Yeah, you got that right. Excuse me. Luke Up, if you're one of those sausage jockeys trying to get a rise out of me, get the hell out of here, because I'm only interested in the female of the species. I will be doing an episode on Thin Lizzy at some stage. I'm probably leaning towards either Bad Reputation / what's that live album? Live and Dangerous. Either that or I'm going to do Black Rose, because those are my three favorite Thin Lizzy albums. Thunder and Lightning is a top 5. As is, or I could even do Jailbreak and Johnny the Fox. Yeah. Rayanne, I know you're a bot, so get the hell out of here. No offense. But as you were asking me, Romeo and Juliet by Thin Lizzy. If that's an earlier track, I'll have to go back to it, but I'm, more of a fan of the later stuff. Everything from what album is Romeo and Juliet on anyway? I know the song Romeo and Juliet by Dire Straits. That's on Making Movies. And the instrumental from Emerson, Lake and Palmer that was on Black Moon. That instrumental from Black Moon. From their 1992 reunion album. But I digress. Yeah, 1992 was also the year that Pink Floyd celebrated their quarter century as a band. Muscle Shoals, yeah. They were a great backing band. The Muscle Shoals Rhythm Section. Pete Carr, Barry Beckett. I know those guys. They played on many of Bob Seger's albums. Night Move, Stranger in Town, Against the Wind. One of the songs on The Distance. I don't know if they appeared on Like a Rock and The Fire Inside. It's been a while since I heard those albums. I know The Fire Inside had John Cougar's ex-drummer on there, Kenny Aronoff, who was a powerhouse. And that's funny, though, all the albums from Stranger in Town up to The Fire Inside had a member of the Eagles in some way, shape, or form appear on a track or two. Sweet Leaf by Black Sabbath. Great track. In fact, I love the version that Dio sang with him in 1980 on the Heaven and Hell tour, which then bled into the drum solo either by Bill Ward or Vinny Appice. Yeah, Bob Seger. Here's something I got to say about Bob Seger, folks. If you don't like Bob Seger, you don't like America. That's a quote I got from my old friend Mark Alden Taylor when I used to do a show with him called The Terrence and Mark Experience. That was our catchphrase about Bob Seger. If you don't like Bob Seger, you don't like America. Because you can't get any more American than that guy. His albums are all amazing. Everything from Beautiful Loser up through The Distance, quality material. Like a Rock had its moments, but yeah, as I was saying about the Eagles. Glenn Fry played lead guitar until it shines. Don Felder played lead guitar and Ain't Got No Money did the main solo in the middle. That's Felder. Against the Wind, Fry was back. Don Henley did backing vocals. Timothy B. Schmidt on Fire Lake. Then again, in The Distance, Don Felder played guitar on Even Now and Boomtown Blues. Glenn Fry did the backing vocals on Shame on the Moon. Don Henley returned on Like a Rock on Miami with Timothy B. Schmidt doing the backing vocals on that track. And then The Fire Inside in 91. Joe Walsh played on the mountain. Those batshit Fender Stratocaster guitar solos on that track. He does the main solo in the middle where he's just shredding and ending with a pick slide. And then the final solo, Bob Seger with his Les Paul and Joe Walsh with the Strat just trading leads back and forth. Those two guys were just... I would have been loved to have been a fly on the wall to see those two playing guitar solos in the recording studio. Bob Seger's like, Joe, see if you can top this. Oh, yeah? That's good, Joe. Let's try that. Let's throw another thing. Good idea. Okay. Okay, roll the tape. Yeah, roll the damn thing. Good old Joe Walsh. Yeah, so Bob Seger saved the best eagle for last. Man, oh man. I wish Joe Walsh had done more work with Bob Seger. That would have been great. Because Bob Seger, he's probably my favorite singer-songwriter. And mercifully, he was an independent, centrist, middle of the road, voted for both parties. So he wasn't Mellencamp, and he sure as hell wasn't Springsteen. Thank goodness for that. Seger voted both ways, Democrat and Republican, so that makes him an independent and a centrist. Thank goodness for that. Because Bob America is the Midwest. From Detroit town. Actually from Ann Arbor, but Seger. Man, oh man. And his live albums, two of the best live albums out there. Live Bullet from 76 and Nine Tonight from 81, which was, most of it was recorded in my home state's capital, Boston, at the Boston Garden. And I like that version of Let It Rock better than the version on Live Bullet because it's faster, it's longer. The kidding, and the crowd going, shake, baby. We're recording tonight, shake, baby. Got the 24 track, as in 24 track tape. And I was like, 24 track? Yeah, I make the professor of rock look like I make him look like a chump by comparison. I mean, yeah, he may wear the Frank Sinatra hat and have the Frank Sinatra hipster thing, but I am the real rock and roll professor because I dig into things. He talks about songs, I talk about albums. Because to me, albums were important. Singles were a different game. Because most people just talk about, oh, this single. I'm like, I want to talk about the whole album. So I dig deep. And one of the things I learned about from listening to the In the Studio with Redbeard is that the interviews with the artists themselves, Redbeard would sit down with these artists and talk about the albums, how they were made. And Bob Seger even said about the song Brave Strangers. They recorded that song. They spent 11 days recording that one track. And yeah, you got that right, Venger. So Bob Seger spent 11 days recording Brave Strangers, and they did about 162 takes, and they settled on take number 7. You won't find that on Wikipedia, but you heard it on In the Studio with Redbeard. Good thing I listened to that show. Once it went on the air back in July of 88, I was instantly a fan of that show. And I got into so many bands from that show. Casey, how's it going? And I was happy that the 7th episode of that show was Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. That was interviewed with David Gilmour. And Gilmour got down to the nitty and the gritty of life for the band before Dark Side, how it was like working with Alan Parsons as an engineer, the VCS3, Chris Thomas's role on Dark Side of the Moon, which was edited out of later airings. The issues of it being an audio file record. Man, oh man. Learning that they were selling out arenas before they had a hit record. I'm doing good, Casey. Welcome to Montana. Who the hell is David Sylvain? There's so many Davids in the world of rock and roll. It's not even funny. There's David Coverdale. There's David Gilmour. There's David Johansen. There's the Draymond dude from Disturbed. Oh, Japan. I have an idea. I never heard Japan. I better give them a whirl. Yeah, Montana here is a lot of good country out there. A lot of beautiful country out there. It's just I've been to the southern, luckily, and it's not. I don't think it's a fundamentalist state. I don't think. I know the southern United States is full of fundamentalist hippie Christians to the hilt. Oh, you do that, you're gonna go to hell. Oh, you listen to that music, you're gonna go to hell. God, I like to make fun of those preachers. Well, for the record, I'm a Catholic, and I find the Austins and the Kirk Camerons and all those assholes just bad comedy. You touch the screen and I'll give it to your money. Gentlemen take Polaroids. I better give that a whirl one of these days. Right now, I'm just getting over my neck injury and my back injury. I will, Venger, I will indeed. It's just I'm still recuperating from a back injury I sustained on the 4th of July, cleaning my entire bedroom. And then just on Monday night, I twisted my neck in my sleep, or tweaked my neck. So I've been a hurting puppy these last few days. I had to wear a pain patch to bed last night. And I had to wake up and take a Tylenol and get back to sleep. Excuse me. And sleep is a very important thing for us autistic spectrum disorder people. Excuse me. And I'm hiccuping. Lofty DJ, how do you do? Welcome to the live feed. And I'm talking about upcoming episodes. My next one is Back in Black by AC/DC, with some stories that you won't find on Wikipedia. And mini rants about one of the songs being bled to death by my high school's football cheerleading squad. Yeah, neck and back injuries are bad. I first aggravated my back a week before my 43rd birthday. Try carrying 3 cases of 24 packs of water. Your back went because I was listening to my former podcast colleague, now adversary, Almost Human 56, when him and I were tighter than brothers. I was listening to his old radio show online, and all of a sudden I tried to get up and I couldn't. And I was laughing like, what the fuck? So I had to, squat down to the floor and just move my body with luckily because I have strong arms, down the stairs squatting. And then my father had to put a pain patch on my back after I showered so I could barely stand. For the next few days, I had to take painkillers and try and walk. But I realized at that point I was getting older. I wasn't this invincible 20-something-year-old kid who could do everything under the sun now. And then I was on my feet for 8 hours on the 4th of July, cleaning my room, and my back started to give out. I was like, what the fuck? And I tweaked my neck in my sleep. So when I can't turn my neck, I have to turn my whole body when I'm driving. That's a nightmare. It's kind of like a risk. Having to move your body, make sure it's all clear. Then you have to move your other side of the body, especially when you... Let me see. I hear you, Avenger. Let's see. What do you think about a band that is thought of as autistic rock, because every member in the band is autistic? That would be a great thing to see. In fact, I was going to be a rock star Avenger. I was going to be a rock and roller. And luckily, I had good mentors. I didn't meet them, but I learned from them in their stories. Steve Miller, particularly, Pink Floyd, Queen, Rush, The Who, Zeppelin, etc. I would have loved to have seen it myself. And what they taught me is how to fight the record company powers that be. Yeah, I'd like to see it myself, a band of autistic musicians. That'd be great. But unfortunately, grunge came along and sort of torpedoed my plan of making it because they didn't want to have room for guitar solos, drums. Your brother saw Floyd. What tour? I saw them in 1994 on the Division Bell tour. In fact, I skipped my senior prom to do so in May '94. That was the third. That was the third concert I ever saw was Pink Floyd. My first was The Who on their first reunion tour in 1989 with the late John Entwistle on bass. That was at the old Foxborough Stadium. Yeah, whereabouts did he see him? I saw him in Foxborough the second night of 3 at Foxborough Stadium, the 19th of May, 1994. I remember it was rainy and raw out there. But when the lasers hit the clouds, it was a sight to behold. And I was at that show stone cold sober, meaning no drugs, no alcohol, no nothing, because I don't touch any of that shit. 3 weeks before Pink Floyd, I went to see Rush for the first of 5 times, the Counterparts tour. I went to that show sick as a dog with strep throat, which turned to tonsillitis. Yeah. So I went to the Rush concert sick. And then I had to go to the hospital the next day because my throat was killing me. I was like, I could barely eat my food that day at school. I remember I was like struggling to swallow my lunch, struggling to have sips of water, my tea, my coffee. I inadvertently woke up my father before school. I go, I'm like, yeah, I apologize, but I have something more important right now than that. I apologize, but my throat's killing me. So he saw the white spots. I was rushed to the hospital. Put on antibiotic and ordered by the doctors not to scream for several weeks. So I made a vow to myself not to scream at concerts anymore, which I didn't. I would just soak it in and then clap at the end. At the end of every number, clap. Because I wanted to soak everything in and just absorb. And if I wanted to sing something, I'd just mime it, since I knew all the words of all those songs anyway. And the concert bar for me was set so high that every other concert was either going to be judged by that. I mean, I've seen Black Sabbath 3 times. I saw them with 3 separate singers. Tony Martin in '95. Motorhead was the opening act, so I got to see Lemmy. That was the next concert after Pink Floyd. Was over a year later, because I was like, what's going to top it? Nothing did, but I've been to a lot of shows since. I think the only thing that's come close to it in recent years is Metallica last year at Gillette Stadium, where they played and kicked everyone's ass. My first Metallica concert, albeit a number of years late, but hey, they kicked everyone's right square in the ass, and they played a bunch of deep cuts that you wouldn't hear them play normally, like The Call of Cthulhu, or Ride the Lightning, or trying to think, Sanitarium, and of course the long 13-minute track on their last album, Inamorata, on 72 Seasons. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, Tom Sawyer's your favorite song to play. Dallas. So he was at one of the shows in April of '94. Amazing show. So he saw it before I did. That was great. Your brother's seen Pink Floyd, Metallica, Whitesnake, AC/DC, Nine Inch Nails, Marilyn Manson. Tommy and Quadrophenia were written by people barely out of high school. Yeah, Tommy was 1969. Quadrophenia was 1973. So Pete Townsend was just below. He was 27 when going on 28 when he wrote Quadrophenia. Roger Daltrey was almost 30 when he recorded those vocals. John Entwistle was almost 40, and Keith Moon was just 20. I'm trying to think, 27 when he recorded Quadrophenia. Yeah, and I have an episode on Quadrophenia on the channel to check out. That was under the old Terrence's Classic Rock Corner before I showed it to TJR's. Hello, Angelica. How do you do? Hey, Jonathan, how's it going? The bands I never got to see, though, I kicked myself in the ass. Here's a short list. Supertramp, did not ever get to see them. Styx, I won't see them without Dennis DeYoung. Alex, go to the Blue Oyster Bar. I don't have time for sausage jockeys like you. Jonathan, I'm doing okay. It's just I have to deal with a bunch of clowns who are trying to hit on me, especially when I'm attracted to the female of the species. I'm into holes, not poles. And I'm into pie and watermelon, not strudel and sausage. I got that phrase from the movie Rockstar. Much to the horror of these closeted sausage jockeys. Oh my god. That was one of my favorite movies. I actually like parts of that movie. Some of the dialogue is funny. Yeah, holes, not poles. My friend Dennis taught me that one. Ugh. Dude, don't even get me started. I don't like looking at I don't even like looking down at a dude's sausage. Now women on the other hand, I love me the females. Females of the species, but the trouble is most women that I wanted to date dickheads, bad boys, not kind rock and roll dudes. They'd want to date us rock and roll musicians. They wanted to date the bad boy. But there's rock and rollers that are actually well behaved by comparison. I just wasn't a bad. I mean, I may have played a Hellraiser in school, but out of school, I was Elmer Fudd. Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting rabbits. Oh my goodness. My favorite women are Italian. True story. In fact, my best friend from college, female, 90% Italian, lifelong friend. And she lost a lot of potential dates because of me, partially because of my autism. You saw Jane's Addiction, Bowie, Bless Your Heart, The Cure, Depeche Mode, Nine Inch Nails, Marilyn Manson, Heart, Joan Jett, Cheap Trick. Cheap Prick, that's fucking funny. Bev, I'm not Vincent whatever the fuck you pronounce that dude's name. I'm not Gomer Pyle. And I don't need to see that movie. I fucking love it because my father's a retired U.S. Army sergeant. Descendants. If that's one of those indie bands, I'm into indie music. But yeah, trying to think of other bands I never got to see. Van Halen. I should have seen them with Roth. So what if Michael Anthony wasn't there? I should have seen him. But I was too stubborn, too set in my ways not to go see them. I should have done so, but never mind now. Kicking myself in the ass because Van Halen was the first hard rock group I ever got into. Brian off Family Guy. I saw Def Leppard Venger. They were great in 2005. It was a month after I saw Judas Priest on their Angel of Retribution tour. Brian off Family Guy, Aaron. My opinion of him, he's a sanctimonious prick. I'd rather watch Goliath from Davy and Goliath because at least he may be dim-witted, but at least he's a believer. Brian, why you have to be so negative? Don't tell me to be negative. You're always screaming. I'm not screaming. By the way, I'm an atheist. What's an atheist? It means I don't believe in God like you, moron. God, you're such a bigot. Jeez. Conversation between Goliath and Brian, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a man of all trades. I love Goliath. He sounds dopey, but that dog ruled. Show off. My grandfather said he was a bird dog. Watch me fly. He sounded dim-witted, but he was lovable. Davy. Now who's joking? Oh, I'm gonna be Davy. Oh my goodness. That show, man, oh man. Actually the first 5 years of it up through 65 when Davy was voiced by Dick Beals. That was the best. His final episode was the Christmas special from 65. I hate Christmas. What'd you say? I hate Christmas. Davy. What's our crash, Davy? Yeah, you know animals can't talk. Davy? Oh, I get it. I'd like to be a camel. Oh, man. Tom Petty, that's another artist I wish I'd seen back in the day. kicking myself in the ass for that one. Led Zeppelin, same thing. Let's see. David Byrne has autism. Yeah, David Byrne, gifted genius, and Talking Heads. He knew when to pull the plug on the band. After Naked, that was their last album in 1988. They officially ended the band, and David Byrne walked away from the Talking Heads to concentrate on his solo career, which he basically never looked back. And they tried to reform without him. They couldn't do it. Hello, Lizard. How do you do? Fear Factor. Fear Factor sucks. I hate that new metal. Bev, I don't do movies. I have a short patience span through movies. I'm trying to talk about the episode on Queen here. Ugh, the game. I'm a little sleepy, Lizard. I've been up for... My sleep was broken, but I'm hanging in there. And trying to get people to watch my newest episode on The Game by Queen, which has been up for almost 48 hours, only 30 some odd views. I'm promoting it. And trying to promote, and when you're a one-man crew, one-man promotion thing, it's a lot of hard work. And my sleep was broken. Been dealing with a back injury, which I hurt my back on the 4th of July, cleaning my room, and then I tweaked my neck Monday night, so I've been the walking wounded, to say the least. What the hell is boofing another pint? What is that supposed to mean? I never heard that phrase. It's a new one on me. If you're talking about getting high, power to you. I don't touch that shit. Because pot is a gateway drug, folks. Because a lot of people I knew started with pot, graduated to cocaine, graduated to ecstasy, graduated to crystal meth, and graduated to heroin. Hey, Sparrow, how's it going, eh? Oh my goodness. I am allergic to the Sun Addy. I actually have to take vitamin D supplements. Merci beaucoup, Avenger. You rock as well, my man. It's just, speaking of we rock, I got to see Dio twice. Once with, yeah, I do this basically to say hello to the fans checking in and also get them to watch the brand new episode. Oh, Smirnoff. Yes, the episode on The Game by Queen is on the channel. Just look for episode 24, Queen the Game. Sparrow, you take D supplements because you're a hermit? Well, I take D supplements because I have a sun allergy. I actually had sun poisoning very badly when I went to a Red Sox spring training game in 2007. I was out in the sun for about 6 hours trying to watch the game, which I did, and they won. That was the year they won when they won the Red Sox when the Red Sox won the World Series in 2007. And I got burned head to toe, so my whole entire head and face was a lobster. Try taking a shower with a sunburn, folks. It is painful. So I had to sing in a baritone la note. It was painful. I had to go to the hospital the next day to get a cortisone injection. Bless you, William Barry. That must have been a kick-ass show. I saw the Heaven and Hell tour in 2007. Lizard, I'm 49 years old. Fear the Factor. I am not gay. So, get lost. And Sam Steven, get the fuck off my feed, you asshole. You want to make fun of me, dickhead, because I'm bald? Sam Steven, you fuck. Oh, Sam Steven, you're the fucking douchebag. It's not my fault you come on and troll. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Sparrow. I really appreciate that. It's just there's a lot of assholes in this world. Yeah. Yeah. I had the sunburn I had in 2007 was where I developed sun poisoning. Oh my goodness. Fear Factor. Take a walk. God, what the fuck? Jesse James, how's it going, man? Yeah. I mean, I have to be out in the sun for like for so long. I can only be out there for so long before my head goes completely bonkers. Neon Gaming, go fuck yourself. I don't talk about gaming. I'm a rock and roll show, classic rock. Now take your gaming ass and get the fuck out of here. Folks, I don't mind telling off these, oh, don't feed the trolls. The problem is trolls downloaded my videos and you twisted my words against me. Lizard, my sunburn lasted for almost a week. It was an absolute nightmare. I mean, now I have to wear a baseball cap every time I'm in the sun for prolonged periods of time. Well, gaming is, I knew it was going to be, I can spot the people that are going to be trouble. I can just look at the names. Michael, my hair thinned out when I was in my 20s. Yeah. And then I went to work the next day at the record store in Florida that I worked at, Sounds Good Music. And the guy I used to work for, who's now passed, called me Lobster Boy. Decided to do an imaginary lobster crab, lobster claw pinch. Go, psh, like in the Garfield cartoon. Hey, this isn't the sandbox. Hey, this isn't the beach. Get out of my sandbox. Psh. Show off. Oh my goodness. Yeah. The record store jobs were my thing. I worked in record stores for 5 years in Quincy, Mass, Quincy Records and Tapes, and I did 2 years of Sounds Good Music in August, from August 2006 to April 2008 in Port St. Lucie, Florida. Yeah. Don't you wish there was a button to smack the assholes on here? Jesse, you goddamn right. Because they tend to, what they do is they're trying to provoke me and download my videos. Because especially when you had a show like Rock Metal Combat and those morons downloaded my videos to make, ridicule me and mock me and scorn me. I just don't put up with this shit. I didn't make my reputation of being pushed around. I make my reputation and stand up for what I think. And the reason I bald is because my hair thinned out when I was in my 20s. Yeah, the guys wearing toupees, they look stupid. I'd rather just hey, Lizard, how you doing? I just shaved my head. It all started Valentine's Day, 94. My older brother came home from school. Yeah, fair use. But once they started doing things and character assassinating you, then you got to take Philomena. If you're some bot, leave. If you're a real human being and a music fan, hello. If you're a bot, get the hell out of here. Because I'm not going to put up with anybody. Oh, on the contrary, why don't you go fuck your mother? Asshole, leave me alone. I'm talking about rock and roll here, you douchebag. What's a good example of a band that left it and created a good name on their own? Dio, Peter Gabriel. There's many of them. Phil Collins, Pete Townsend, dare I say David Gilmour. He's done quite a lot of good things on his own. So many of them. It's hard to name them all exactly, but I can think, yeah. The lines are a bit weird. Also doesn't help YouTube's inconsistent with what it enforces. Yeah, the Stooges. They were a phenomenal band. Philomena, leave. I don't want 8-year-olds watching my video. I'm rated R. No one under 17 admitted without mom, and dad, or an older sibling who's in their teens. I'm in the United States. Oh my goodness. Lizard, you can't be 11 years old. Or are you serious? Jesse, are you messing with me? If so, cut the crap. If you're trying to react for me to get angry, Do I play instruments? Guitars, drums, keyboards, bass guitars. Calaveras. It said not for kids. The video says no, not for kids, but apparently some countries don't get the friggin' memo. Thank you. It's not my fault. How the hell am I supposed to know that these assholes? I say no to kids, no children, but apparently their parents don't know what the fuck they're doing. It's like, oh, okay. No, video's not for kids. Kids, if you're under 13, don't watch. If you're over 18 and a music fan, you can watch. Thank you very much. Hey, Keith, how's it going, eh? Tonight's one of those strangest nights with all these knobs. Well, yeah, I've laughed at things and they say I didn't block you, Jesse. No, I didn't block you. It's just YouTube's algorithms tend to have a reputation of pulling video. What's the word I'm looking for? They tend to hide comments. It wasn't, I didn't block you. It's just YouTube's being kind of like Adolf. Sie Heil, controlling all the comments. Sie Heil. Hello, Alan. Hello from Tennessee. My old childhood best friend lives in Tennessee. Sparrow, the first David Gilmour album, amazing. My favorite David Gilmour album is About Face, though. The second solo album from '84. I love them all, actually. Bear, cringe. Custom paints. Well, doing videos like this, promoting my show on YouTube, on Facebook, everywhere, I had to work hard to get the promotion for my Big Daddy Washington. YouTube will randomly say your videos are put on private and only those can watch. Well, it pissed me off that the people on YouTube don't know what the fuck they're doing. God, I sound like Roger Waters when I curse. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Michael Isaac Hayes, may he lay you in peace. Yeah, I'm trying to learn how to laugh things off, but it's so hard when you got elements of your past still stalking you and harassing you to the breaking point where you had a nervous breakdown. In retrospect, I should never have done Rock Metal Combat. If I could go back to 2014, tell myself not to join Ralphie or, start a show with Ralphie or Ian Wadley, I would have said, Terrence, don't do it. They're going to sell you down the river. I should have had a conversation with my younger self, my younger counterpart, but I would have had to have done it like Back to the Future. Had my back turned to myself so I would not go into epileptic shock. To, give my younger self advice not to consort with the RMCP schoolgirls. Hank Williams Jr., Johnny Cash, he was an early rock and roll guy, yes. Yeah, he was on Sun Records, the same label that spawned Jerry Lee Lewis and Elvis Presley. But kind of went in a different direction, musically speaking. And then his last albums were acoustic. Basketball, just a basketball. If you're an AI bot from Abu Dhabi, take your Abu Dhabi ass and leave. Thank you very much. Excellent, Sparrow. Good, Tor. Good to see you back. One of the greatest underappreciated tunes is Astronomy Domine from Pink Floyd's Umaguma. I agree. In fact, that was the first version of that song I heard. It was on the U.S. version of A Nice Pair. They didn't use the British version of the album, so Capitol had to make their own version of Piper using songs from Relics and, singles and Umaguma. What about that Ozzy concert? Did I watch it? Yeah, and it was embarrassing. I didn't like it. Metallica were great. Rival Sons were great. Steven Tyler was great. But everything else was just horrible. Guns N' Roses should retire. Ozzy should have stayed retired. It was an embarrassment seeing him in a wheelchair. Him all... it was horrible. And Bill Ward, I swear to Christ, he looked like he was hitting on Pat Patterson's corpse. God, leave your shirt on, old man. Disgusting. All I can hear is JR from Jim Ross going, "Oh my God, my God." Yeah, I agree. It was elder abuse. I hear Jim Ross going, "Oh my God, no, don't do it. Don't take the shirt off, damn it, no." Yeah, he's single, fellas. Yeah, it was disgusting. Sharon Osbourne should be ashamed of herself for that. Sharon Osbourne is one of the reasons why she gives rock and roll managers a bad reputation. Shell the Swiftie, neither of them. My favorite, Chrissy Hynde of the Pretenders, because I'd rather hear my female singers with the contralto rather than sing like screaming like a banshee on every damn tune. Like Joan Jett's all right though. She kind of lost the plot after a while. Ann Wilson's voice gets on my nerves after a while. Chrissy Hynde of the Pretenders, I can listen to her any day of the week. Yeah, Sharon Arden and Dawn Arden, two birds, two feathers of the same, two wings of the same bird. Corrupt. Now the great rock and roll managers, Peter Grant, Steve O'Rourke, they all died before. They all died before their time. My favorite member of the Runaways was Lita Ford. She can shred. And she wasn't even invited to the final concert of Ozzy. That should have happened, but no. Sharon doesn't like Lita. And then again, Tony Iommi doesn't like her either. Lita Ford was ass kicking. And her her first two solo albums before she went to the home of Elvis, when she was with Mercury, Out for Blood, great record, and Dancing on the Edge, which was her second album, which is my favorite of the two Mercury albums. That was a great record too. Then she sold out to the corporate devil known as Sharon. God, Sharon Osbourne, the evil ace of spades. Do I think classic rock will be a thing of the past? No. Because if you look at Billboard's 200, there's a lot of classic albums on that list. Rumors by Fleetwood Mac's in the top 30. Bob Marley, Creedence Clearwater Greatest Hits is there. Let's see. Nirvana, Nevermind, still in the top 100. The Eagles' Greatest Hits is still in the charts. That's the biggest selling album of all time here in the States is the Eagles. Thank goodness for that. That pedophile Michael Jackson can rot in hell, the son of a bitch. Rush, my other favorite band after Pink Floyd, yes. They were amazing. I wish Neil Peart was still with us. You know, him and Rick Wright's passing, both of those really hit me. I went into a depression when Rick died, and when Neil died, I went into even more of a depression. Cancer spares nobody, man. Well, Nirvana, here's the thing with Nirvana. When I was in sophomore in high school, a junior, I didn't really care for them. My senior year, when In Utero was released, I had to give props to a friend of mine named Steve Hooper, who was one of my best friends and always stuck up for me no matter what the situation entailed. He had my back. Zay, go to the Blue Oyster Bar, you homo. You peckerhead. Leave me alone. Asshole. Sorry, folks. Anyway, my friend Steve, it's like, hey, Terrence, I know you're a fan of metal, but listen to this Nirvana album. It'll change your opinion on it. I'm like, okay, for you, I'll do it. My friend Dennis wouldn't do it, but I was like, okay, I'll make myself the guinea pig. When I heard Serve the Servants, I was floored. Then I heard Sinless Apprentice. I was like, holy fucking shit. I was blown away. So I found a copy in the used section. It was actually brand new. It was a record club press of In Utero. Bought it for $8 new and loved it. It took a friend, like I said, my friend Steve, to talk some sense into me, but I warmed up to it. Jesse's Girl. That's not a bad song, but Rick Springfield, a lot of better songs. Don't Talk to Strangers is one of them. The Spammy Hagar song of his I didn't like. Affair of the Heart was great. To Love Somebody was great. It's part of my childhood, 83, yes. Femboys. Ugh. Dude, quit being a femboy. I want, women who go through the tomboy stage and then turn out to be drop dead gorgeous, or are country girls who, do things that men do, like riding horses and stuff. Those girls that are country girls, but tomboys that turn into drop dead gorgeous women. I have no problem with that. Bleach is Nirvana's best work. Pretenders 2 on vinyl, amazing album. The first three Pretenders albums are masterpieces. Learning to Crawl is my favorite. The first album is in second place. Yes, one of my favorite bands, Fragile, Close to the Edge, Tales from Topographic Oceans, and I don't like Spammy Hagar. Or Samuel Horatio Hagar, as my former colleagues used to call him. Samuel Horatio Effin Hagar, aka the Bette Midler of rock and roll. Oh my god. Yeah, that was an in joke with Rock Metal Combat. Toad the Wet Sprocket. Boring. Robin Trower, underappreciated. Bridge of Sighs, phenomenal album. Walk on the Ocean, All I Want. Their cover of Rock and Roll All Night is I want to rock and roll all night. It sounds like I'm in a bar playing an acoustic guitar, singing a hard rock song. Oh my god, sorry. Yeah, for me, it's the original lineup of Van Halen. Like Bad Company, the original lineup. Mojo Nixon, he was a funny ass dude. Debbie Gibson is pregnant with my two-headed love child. Debbie Gibson is pregnant with my two-headed love child. That was fucking funny. How she didn't sue him, I'll never know. And then one of my local radio stations did an April Fool joke saying she was killed in a car crash. Everyone thought it was serious. Oh my god. I did that one time and I got lynched by New Kids on the Block fans for an article saying that they broke up. Oh my god, I was like the Antichrist of junior high. I was in 8th grade, I was like the devil. Man, oh man. Oh my god. Yeah, Eddie Van Halen. Oh, that's a Pink Floyd promotion poster for the Is There Anybody Out There the Wall live album, Ren. Yeah, Trower's Too Rolling Stoned. I love that beginning. Sounds like the beginning of Shaft with the wah wah pedal. I'm a stitch in time. And James Remar reminded me of Paul Rogers singing. Reg Isidore, phenomenal drummer. That's why I kind of went away after Bridge of Sighs, because once Reg Isidore wasn't there as a drummer anymore, it wasn't the same anymore. Our Love's in Jeopardy. Greg Kihn. Great record. And the album before that with the breakups, 2 albums before with the breakup song. They don't ride them like that anymore. And did you know that Blue Sky, that Weird Al parodied that song is I Lost on Jeopardy, baby. That video was hilarious. And Greg Kihn appeared at the end, driving away in the convertible with Weird Al in the back. Like, what the hell happened to me? Oh man, my God. You knew you made it big when you made a cameo appearance in your own parody. Even Madonna had a sense of humor appearing in Weird Al's parody of Like a Virgin as Like a Surgeon. So at least she had a sense of humor. I mean, if Weird Al parodies you and you appear in your own parody, that means you made it. You have a sense of humor. You have enough of a sense of humor. Eminem, on the other hand, he has no sense of humor. You got 3 Van Halens on vinyl. Sparrow. Weird Al was the man. Yeah, and he parodied George Harrison's Got My Mind Set on You as This Song's Just 6 Words Long. Tiffany's I Think We're Alone Now is I Think We're a Clone Now. La Bamba is Lasagna. Alimony, Moni Billy Idol as Alimony. Smells Like Nirvana. Oh man. Taco Grande, The White Stuff, as in parodying of the Right Stuff by New Kids on the Block. What else? Trying to think. Yeah, so many of them. Taco Grande. Oh man, you don't love me anymore. The video where he kind of made fun of what's that? Extremes More Than Words video. That was fucking funny as hell. Oh my god, the Smells Like Nirvana video was hilarious. Oh man, yeah. And then they had to put subtitles because when I hear "Smells Like Teen Spirit," I just think of the parody. Because Weird Al just fucking roasted, and they even used the same janitor. Instead of wiping his sweat, he's eating a donut. I'm like, oh my god. Dick Van Patten is the cheerful principal. I was like, hey, have my sandwich. Hey, get that away from me, old man. Oh my god. Generation gap, of course. Man, oh man. Uh Amish Paradise, Gump. Oh my god. The saga continues. All about the Pentiums. Oh my god, what else did he do? Parodying 1 Week by Bare Naked Ladies is Jerry Springer. That is funny ass shit. Eat It. Yep. Fat. Amish Paradise. That was like the funniest video. Yeah. The first time you saw, like, in many years, a clean shaven Weird Al. Yeah. The first time you saw him in a clean shaven parody was Ricky, the parody of Mickey, based on Lucy. I Love Lucy. Man, oh man, that video was classic. Who the heck is Destroy Lonely? I never heard such a band. Boss Rutan, Lil Tecca, never heard of them either. Yes, just White and Nerdy, that's fucking funny too. Man, oh man, oh man. The video about the In the Closet parody. Yeah, the In the Closet, yeah, the closet tune from R. Kelly he made fun of and threw in a snippet of Black Dog from Zeppelin. Man, oh man, oh man. Gurjin, I'd rather watch HLA. If you don't know what that means, Eric Bischoff would say it best in WWE back in the day. Hot lesbian action. HLA, HLA, HLA. Oh man. The classic attitude era of WWE. Oh my goodness. I wouldn't mind seeing a couple of hot lesbians going at it. But yeah, trying to find hot lesbians is like trying to find just like trying to pull teeth. It's difficult now. But then also you had a lot of hot women with very short hair that are straight. In fact, I almost converted a lesbian to a heterosexual. But unfortunately, she was married. She goes, if I wasn't married, I'd ask for your phone number right now. I'm like, you're joking. She goes, you're the first guy in a long time that's been nice to me, kind. I'm like, God, I'm honored. Yeah, sometimes if it would take an act of God to get them out of their lesbian experimentalism to go back to heterosexuality. It's happened. Sometimes women will experiment with lesbianism. Thank you very much, Keith. I appreciate that, my man. And I have a lot of episodes coming up soon. A lot of old ones, a lot of new ones, a lot of re-records. It's a pain in the neck, but I don't mind. Not only do I do these Q&As, but I also do my podcast episodes, which I'm trying to get people to watch and subscribe. We spend most of our lives living in an Amish paradise. I churned out butter once or twice. Oh my God, that's funny. Oh, man. You won't ever get a Weird Al. That'll be a sad day when we lose him. Man, oh, man. Even some of his originals are great. The Good Old Days. Christmas at Ground Zero. That's a Christmas song you won't hear on any radio station because now I think of his Christmas at night, the locale of 9/11. Christmas at Ground Zero, the button has been pressed. Oh my God, that was a funny ass. That's one of the Christmas songs I always play. And the Beatles, they were funny. They were a great band. Every Christmas, I have to play my Beatle montage of the Christmas greetings between 1963 and 69. I mean, yeah, but most people won't play that because they're too chicken to play anything that is not of official release. That's my favorite Beatle Christmas tune. The Beatle montage Christmas greeting 63 to 69. John speaking. Thanks a lot, folks. Have a happy Christmas and a Merry Good Year. Merry Christmas from yours truly, Ringo Starr. This is George Harrison saying Happy Christmas. Hello, this is Paul. Thank you all for buying our records the past year. Have a happy Christmas, everybody, to you. Once upon a time, there were two balloons called Jock and Yono. Oh my god. Riley, I hope you're a real human being. If not, take a leave of absence, please. Thank you very much. Anyway, trying to find bands to replace the Weird Al's videos are fucking classic. Remember when they were you got that right. I'm gonna make you a honorary mod to keep all the dickheads out. Keith, I made you a mod, man. And Sparrow, I remember when many of those Weird Al videos aired on MTV when it was music television. Yeah, most people don't even know that. I was a child of the 1980s, and when I first got cable in November of 1983, that's pretty much all I watched. Cartoons and MTV, that was it. And comedy things. Since I was a kid of the 80s, I think that one of the first R-rated movies, yeah, MTV used to air music. They jumped the shark once they aired that stupid show, Real World. Even the game shows they had in the late 80s, early 90s had music elements in it. Remote Control had music. Lip Service had music, but I rarely watched that. The only time I did was when Linda Blair was judge, because I had a mad major crush on her. Who wouldn't? And then VH1 when it was music first, and then there was one episode of Tom Jones's The Right Time that I watched. And I'll tell you the reason for it was because this man right here, I'll point to him, appeared on the episode. You're looking at him. You know who that is? You know who I'm talking about. That's David Gilmour. Yep, David Gilmour of Pink Floyd played with Tom Jones on a version of Purple Rain with that cream-colored Strat with the EMG pickups. And he just played that Stratocaster, doing Prince's solo in his own unique way, whereas Prince kind of mirrored Gilmour's Comfortable. I'm solo for Purple Rain. Gilmour's like, oh, I can Comfortable. I can out Purple Rain Prince on his best day. So David did a phenomenal job. And yeah, David's my favorite guitarist of all time. I love Eddie Van Halen, but there's something about David Gilmour that I love. And except unless you're Roger Waters and you hate David Gilmour. You can't hate David Gilmour. Oh yeah, my former podcast hates David Gilmour too. Oh, he was not Pink Floyd. Imbeciles, he took Pink Floyd to the next level. He took them to the promised land with Dark Side of the Moon as guitar playing. He wrote a lot of the music. There would be no Shine On You Crazy Diamond. There would be no Dogs. There would be no Comfortably Numb. No Run Like Hell. No Momentary Lapse of Reason without Gilmour. Yeah, David Gilmour live at Pompeii. Yeah, that happened 9 years ago and was released on the live album David Gilmour Live at Pompeii. Rattle that luck. God bless you, Curtis, my man. Yeah, and I saw Gilmour with Pink Floyd in 94. Best fucking concert I've ever been to in my life. Welcome to our second night here in Foxborough. We definitely brought the rain with us. We're very, very good at that these days. We hope you're all wrapped up nice and warm. This is Cole. What do you want from me? I remember David stage bannering that night, and then right before coming to hope you all had a wonderful time despite the rain, the cold, and the wind. And I was laughing my ass off. My brother goes, "What's so funny?" I go, "They're from England. They're used to this weather. America isn't." All right, I'll be off. Bless you, my man. We got time for one more song now. This is called Comfortably Numb. When he announced it, the crowd just went completely insane. And that night, the second solo with that red Strat of his going through his wireless unit, through his high watt amplifiers, he just kicked everyone's ass. Pink Floyd live at Pompeii. When I first saw that movie when I was 9 in 85, I was a fan of Dark Side Forward, so the early stuff kind of went a little over my head at that point. That was until I got the Works compilation and I kind of understood it more. And by the time I watched it again in 92 when I was 16, my Pink Floyd fandom overtook me, and that was the same week that I got Roger Waters' then current album, Amused to Death. And that album was the best album he did. One of the reasons, because Jeff Beck was the star of the damn show. If you can't get David Gilmour to play on your record, get Jeff Beck. Jeff Beck was the man. Jeff Beck was probably the best guitarist Roger Waters worked with. The shame about the last Waters album, he didn't get Jimmy friggin' Page. Because Jimmy Page is the man. Beck, Page, Gilmour, May, Lifeson, Van Halen. Actually, Eddie Van Halen did play on a Roger Waters track. Lost Boys Calling. Roger Waters has amnesia about that happening because he took a shot at Eddie Van Halen after he died. I'm like, wait a minute, Roger. Eddie played on your record. You forgot about that, didn't you? Oh, yeah, you got amnesia, old man. God. Lost Boys Calling, 1999, for the Legend of 1900 film. Eddie did that evocative solo on that track, and he just played that killer guitar solo, man. Oh, my goodness. William, my introduction to Dark Side of the Moon was because it was in my household. I'm the youngest of 8, so my mom had it on vinyl. And for my 8th birthday in January 1984, my mom and dad were kind enough to buy me Dark Side of the Moon. My mother was just a rock and roller. Not only did she like Pink Floyd, but she also liked the Eagles, Journey, the Stones, Styx, AC/DC, Def Leppard, Bryan Adams, Bob Seger. You name it, she was a fan of it. Unless you were Queen, but she hated Queen, but that's neither here nor there. And The Who kind of went over her head like a lead balloon. She did love Zeppelin, though. Skynyrd, yes. Allman Brothers, yeah. I just can't get into Hillbill. I just can't get into Southern rock. I tried. Skynyrd, yeah, because they had some balls. But Allman Brothers was too... I'm like, God. I'm like, says the man that loves 20, 30-minute guitar solos. But yeah, done with, Queen. But yeah, Brian May doing 10-minute guitar solo spots. He's another phenomenal guitarist. Good old Brian. And I talk about how much I love Brian May on the Queen episode. I have 2 Queen episodes, and I at the Opera and the Game. ELO, Jeff Lynne. Yeah, there's an ELO and Queen connection. Reinhold Mack. Reinhold Mack was the engineer on Face the Music, New World Record, Out of the Blue, Discovery, and Time. And then Mack would go on to work with Queen on The Game, Flash Gordon, Hot Space, The Works, A Kind of Magic, the live recordings between 1981 and 86. So Mack wound up working with Queen because secretly he wanted to work with Queen for years. And he was also an engineer on Led Zeppelin's Presence album, but he didn't take any credit for it because him and the other engineer, Keith Harwood, had a personality clash. And Keith Harwood sadly passed away in a, car accident from a drug-induced overdose while he was driving. Brain salad surgery, Keith, you ask. Well, hang on. Hang tight. Hang on. Ah, shit, it's stuck. I don't want to break my... Okay. Keith, if it's brain salad surgery you want, brain salad surgery is what you're going to get. I have an episode up on this as well, plus the live album, Welcome Back, My Friends. This is the U.S. press of brain salad surgery. This is like a late 70s Atlantic press. But I put the original poster in there. And I put the original poster in there. It's a Frankenstein copy. Because I'll show you what I did. This may look like a reissue, but I took something from the original record and put it in here. And you want to know what that is, right? This is from the original press record. So yeah, a little quasi-cheating, but... Yeah, Frankenstein's a great tune by Edgar Winter Group. And sometimes a Frankenstein copy is you take something from one record copy and then you put it into another record copy. And see, this is what the poster of Brain Salad Surgery looks like when you fold everything out. So when I was doing my review, I had to read the lyrics from this record. Because I'm banned from Wikipedia, which I wear the badge of honor. And there's a little Frankenstein attachment to Pink Floyd. That was one of the songs that was playing on the radio when Nick Mason was flipping the radio stations when Pink Floyd played Tarrant County Tarrant Convention Center, May 1st, 1977. It's on the bootleg. It's after Have a Cigar, before Wish You Were Here. Nick Mason's turning the radio stations, and one of the songs playing is Frankenstein. Da 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 da. Man, oh man. And then he switched to another station. And the record's in here. Yeah. Hang on. And I did a transfer from this to CD because it sounds better. This record's practically dead mint. I have it. I did a one-time transfer to CD, then put it away, store it, and just keep it. Because trying to find a copy in this condition is like trying to pull teeth. Because a lot of people who had these albums and did whatever damage to it. I have every ELP album on vinyl, except for Black Moon. I even have Emerson, Lake and Powell. And I don't have In the Hot Seat either, because that album was horrible. Yeah, and the only thing about Love Beach that they should have changed was the title. Make it, I don't know. Memoirs of an Officer and a Gentleman. Yeah, Keith, I have an episode on brain salad surgery and the live album I talk about. Welcome Back, My Friends, which is practically that whole brain salad album live. Yeah, they played the entire album live. Yeah, Frankenstein. Edgar Winter. That's a kick-ass jam. And Ronnie Montrose, may he lay in peace, playing the epic guitar riff on that track. And Montrose, he had a kick-ass band, but complicated human being. It's a shame that mental illness got him in prostate cancer. But he's the one who inadvertently unleashed Samuel Horatio Hagar on the world. But Hagar back when he was with Montrose was manageable. With Van Hagar, it was horrible. But with Montrose, he was good. It's one of the strangest dichotomies. Yeah, I know. I don't like Van Halen with Hagar, but I do love me the first Montrose album, or the two Montrose albums. A big influence on Iron Maiden, I might add. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't like Montrose. I hate that. Well, talk to Steve Harris of Iron Maiden. That band was a big influence on Maiden. Yeah, Maiden covered quite a few songs from Montrose. Johnny Winter, another underrated guitarist. XBH, I don't meow. I just say, how's it going, A? Good day, A. And if you're a real person, subscribe. If you're a rock music fan, subscribe, because I have a podcast. I'm not here to do stupid shit. So take your stupid ass shit and take a hike. Unless you want to. XBH, I warned you. Your ass is fired. Oh, never mind. Oh, sorry. I know you were. Oh, my apologies. Oops, hang on. Unhide. All right. XBH, I know you subscribed. I know you were a fan of the show. Grey Wolf, how's it going, eh? Doing the, so when one buddy leaves his feed and his live video thing, I do mine to catch up with the fans, talk about upcoming episodes, and all that other good stuff. XBH. Yeah. XBH better be a real person, otherwise he can get the fuck out of here. Because I'm not going to put up with this shit. And I'm not going to turn into drinking with Bob either. Alright, I'm going to give you a warning. No, don't tell me to do things, because if you're in cahoots with Almost Human 56, I'll find out about it and file legal papers. So be warned, because I don't fuck around. God, I sound like my old man. Yeesh. Things don't fall too far from the tree, I guess. Anyway, yeah, I have over like 200 XBH, I'm not going to do anything for a donation. I'm trying to do donations on the strength of the show. All right, Blue Sky, take care of yourself. God bless you. Good seeing you in the chat here, man. Keith, please be in the XBH crew right now. Disrespecting elderly people get you an automatic ban, XBH. I try to give you a second chance. All right, XBH, you asshole. You pushed me. You're permanently banned. Hit the bricks. You're gone. Now get the stepping, bitch. Sorry. Dealing with these sons of bitches. Nothing better to do but to Barcelona, Real Madrid. Max Payne, I don't know what you're talking about. Keith, I don't blame you, Keith. There's a lot of assholes out there. Disrespecting old people. Disrespecting young, older ex people, Zennials. I just don't take any crap from anybody. Yeah, Micro Generation XY here. 1976 to 82. Not quite X, not quite Y. We're somewhere caught in the vortex. Yeah. Maya, you're a 12-year-old. Now get the fuck out of here, Maya. No, not you, Mr. Apple, but Maya. Go back to your Himalaya home. I don't want 12-year-old girls because I'm not a pedophile, bitch. Max Payne, if you're asking me childish questions and you're a 12-year-old, get the hell off my feed, asshole. I'm not putting up with childish crap. I'm trying to talk rock music here and promote my show, and you're fucking with me, you prick. Take your fucking shit and get the hell off my feed, son of a bitch. That motherfucker. You know what, Grey Wolf? I'm going to make you a mod as well. You, Grey Wolf, I give you permission to kick off dickheads who are asking childish questions. If it's not rock and roll related or anything to do with sports, which is civil, I want you off my feet. Grey Wolf, you're here. Thank you, Keith. Thank you very much indeed. Yeah. Max Payne got exactly what he deserved. Because he was asking me stupid questions. And I just don't put up with crap from children. Hawk, tune in. Some punk was asking me childish questions, and apparently someone at YouTube didn't get the memo. This is not for children. You know what? How you doing, Prib USMC? I mean, yeah. Try not get political because, quite frankly, I'm a little disillusioned with our president. I voted for him, but what he's doing right now is kind of a stupid thing, causing a civil war within his own party with his stupid-ass shenanigans. Yeah. I just don't want to hear, I mean, I'm independent conservative. I don't like the left, and I don't like the right. And what they're behaving, both parties are a bunch of Hawk Tuhan. Take your hip-hop bullshit, get the fuck off my feed, and leave my channel. Drake makes me shit. Drake's USMC, you don't have to leave. I apologize. Preb USMC, I apologize. I didn't mean to offend you. It's just I don't want to talk politics because, quite frankly, both political parties are a joke. Rock and roll, the podcast, sports I can even talk about civilly, but I just don't get into politics or religion unless it's a civil debate. Yeah, I appreciate that because you seem like a good guy. So I'm going to let you stay on. It's just I am tired of politics, because traditionally this country had a lot of great ideas. Don't worry about it. Because traditionally, Democrats and Republicans for many years had wonderful ideas, but now they're trying to turn it into an us versus them situation. I'm like, can't we all just get along? Whatever happened to agree to disagree? Yeah, don't speak about politics. Exactly. Yeah, don't ever get into debates about politics, religion, or money. My late grandfather, many years ago, when I got in trouble by the Secret Service, yes, I can say that, in 2004, uh, I said some things to Senator Kerry, which I got in hot water for, via HillaryClinton.com, I might add. I said, metaphorically, I hope he got massacred. Not literally, but figuratively. Next thing I know, the Secret Service was looking for me. And then my grandfather explained to me, he goes, I'm going to lay it to you. There's 3 things you don't discuss: politics, religion, and money. And Joel Embiid, go back and fuck a camel, you son of a bitch. Thank you very much. Man, oh man. Joel Embiid, you're fired. Your ass is fired, you son of a bitch. Hector, go back to the gay bar. Leave me the fuck alone, dickhead. I'm trying to talk music, and you want to talk about something I find cringe. Oh man, my stomach is in a knot. I don't want people to. Excuse me. There's a lot of crazies out here. I'm trying to discuss and promote the new episode, and I see all these lunatics out here. Thank you, Keith. Much obliged, man. Trying to do this live feed to get the promotion for the show going, which is a good thing. And then having to deal with a bunch of morons who are trying to ruin a good conversation, a good live feed. I just don't put up with anyone's crap. M3A, it's actually out right now. It's on Queen, the game, episode number 24. Corpse Man, how's it going, eh? So punch in episode 24, Queen, the game, and Flash Gordon. That's the new episode. It was just released yesterday. I'm trying to get plays and views for it. Richie Rich with a stupid ass, what the hell did you call it? With that stupid Family Guy moron. That show is for nerds who have no life. I'll watch South Park any day of the week, twice on Sunday. Much appreciative. Attack on Titan. Corpseman, I don't watch television. Yeah, because that's all TV does, is tell lies. I'm in the United States of America, in Massachusetts, a state which has the best doctors and best food. I don't agree with its politics, but there's more good than the bad. So you got to take the good with the bad. I lived in South Carolina. Their health care was horrible. Plus the fact they were fundamentalist morons who didn't like those who actually happen to not be of the Baptist or fundamentalist teachings. I don't buy into that dispensationalist crap, because what it does is it's called fear-mongering. And I'm taught by my views, which are Catholic-based, that I'm a believer. Well, no, that was Connecticut. The two Bushes came from, thanks, Keith, I appreciate that. The claim to be Texans, that was Connecticut. Oh my God. Mandingo, take a hike. It's not my fault that you're an oppressed human being. Yeah. Mandingo has been permanently banned. What do you want to talk about? His sex life? God, I don't have time for that. I'm trying to talk about rock and roll here and ideas for future episodes, which I'm going to work on. No. Mass is the home state of Aerosmith. one of the greatest rock and roll bands that existed. Home of one of the most underappreciated bands that should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Boston. Florida. I have a love-anger relationship with Florida. Um, it's nice down there. I spent 6 years down there, but the problem was I ran into a bunch of clowns who bullied me out of the state. Aerosmith are from Boston. They're not from Iowa, Texas. That's Stone Cold Steve Austin's home neck of the woods. That's my favorite wrestler. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Florida just changed. I mean, I lived in Port St. Lucie for 2 years. I had a job there. Then I had a family issue. Well, Steven Tyler, Joe Perry were from New Hampshire. I think Joey Kramer was from the Bronx. Brad Whitford was the only Bay Stater. And Boston was mostly Bay Staters except Tom Scholes, who was from Ohio. Yeah, collector's item. North Florida. I lived in South Florida. In the last 3 years I was living there in Lake Worth, I had to do my shopping in Wellington, where all the equine people, for those who don't know what equine means, it's those of the horse riding persuasion, did their winter horse riding competitions. They would let me shop in that town, that city, whatever you want to call it, in peace. Because they let me shop in peace because they knew I was being harassed and bullied by the panhandlers living in Lake Worth. And the Pencil Neck Geek, yeah, that was Freddie Blassie, and he briefly became a babyface on an episode of what's that show? Primetime Wrestling. Yeah, Gorilla Monsoon, Freddie Blassie, and Roddy Piper turned on Bobby the Brain Heenan. That was in '89. I have an Aerosmith episode up on Toys in the Attic, which is my favorite album of theirs, and my favorite song of theirs is Round and Round on that same album. It's an album track written by Brad Whitford. So yes. Yeah, anyway. So when I was living in Lake Worth, I had to shop in Wellington to get away from the panhandlers, the drug addicts, the MS-13s, the gang violence. Plus seeing a lot of people that were about to expire. Buckets. Problem was the girls I was pursuing, wherever I went, they didn't want nice guys. They wanted assholes, bad boys, ones with Mickey Mouse tattoos, and smoking and shit. Found someone that's been watching wrestling as long as I have. Yeah. It all started in late '83, World Class on Channel 25 here in the Northeast. And then I saw Hogan win the title from the Iron Sheik the day before my 8th birthday. That was the first thing I watched on USA Network was actually that Hogan match. Hogan versus Sheik. And I got hooked on wrestling ever since. And yeah, I am a fan of WWE. There's some eras I love, some I don't love. Bless you, man. Keith, we all got to start somewhere in the wrestling bin. For me, I have to go with WWE because AEW now is, Nick Khan can't even run a brothel. If he can't run a wrestling organization, he couldn't even run a. Yeah, you got that right, Keith. AEW. Khan can't run a fucking company for shit. Oh my god. Braylon Flowers, I'm a music thing. I'm not no bot. Take a hike. But yeah. I mean, AEW for like a couple months was good, but then all of a sudden it just became like Jurassic Park. Yeah. CM Punk. Him coming back to WWE renewed my interest because he's the real deal. What you get is what you see with him. You know, there's no bullshit with that guy. Yeah, I called Dwayne a bald fraud. Yeah, The Rock he used to be the people's champion. Let's see. Um, I'm autistic spectrum disorder, corpse mankind, and I'm also a fan of rock and roll, classic rock, sports as long as it's civil, baseball, classic, you know, baseball predominantly. Kevin, your prerogative. There's some things. Thank you very much, Camden. You rule. Yeah, I'm gonna try and watch Saturday night main event. Excuse me, but I'm supposed to go to a friend's cookout. My best friend from college, who's female, the love of my life. Thing was, I wound up having I chickened out when she asked me out many years ago because I thought she had a boyfriend back then. Who you know? Because here's the old adage. If you've seen all these movies, the kind-looking dude. Drake sucks balls. He's a gang-banging wanksta, fake wanksta. So here's what I'm trying to say. Me, kind of nerdy guy, asked by a hot, beautiful woman on college campus to go visit her at work. I was like, okay. But I'd seen movies like One Crazy Summer. Hey, go Apocalypse. Fuck A Tribe Called Quest. The fucking gang banging wanksta shit. Life's TLC, how's it going? Go Apocalypse. Go fuck yourself. Asshole. Yeah, I just don't put up with these assholes, folks. Yeah, I said hello. Life's TLC. I said hello. Fuck Kendrick Lamar. Yeah, Beyond the Mat was a great documentary. Mick Foley, Jake the Snake. And get your Hawk Tour, get your Kendrick Lamar loving ass off my feed. I don't like rap. Please, what I think of rap. All those rappers. Yeah, I'm trying to. But the problem is, I used to deal with a podcast. I used to download my videos. Well, there you go. You said Kendrick sucks good. I just don't like rap. I just don't like rappers. Hip hop, R&B, it's all crap. And I don't like teen queens either. You know, Britney Spears, she makes me want to vomit. Yeah, she's a drug addict, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let her fool you. There's a reason she was put in that conservatorship because she's three fries short of a Happy Meal. TSA. Am I a fascist? No. Are you a douchebag trying to pick a fight with me? Yes. So, to my mods, TSA can get the hell. Thank you, Keith, for reminding me. Eminem, the rapper who can dish, but can't take it because he's a pussy. Britney Spears is in her 40s, but she looks like she's about to approach 70 years old. Plus a drinker, drug user, meth addict. And just a piece of work. I mean, how she's still alive and a few other people are dead, I'll never know. No, it's not her doppelganger. Quit buying all those conspiracy theories. Just like Alex Jones, that fat bastard. His real name is Bill Hicks. He's not even who he says he is. He's a fat. She cleaned up. Yeah, and I'm the king of England. Ah, bullshit. You're out of here. She's still a drug addict. Meth teeth. Chain smoking. Still drinking and doing drugs. Doing meth with her own kid. What kind of a mother would do that? Stupid. Sickening. Damn right disgusting. Yeah. Her, Katy Perry, they're all a bunch of skanky Jezebels, if you ask me. Mariah Carey, I watch with the television with the video muted, because at least Mariah is gorgeous. Buri, you're an asshole. UFC. No, Rick, no politics, And I take back voting for the guy because of some of the stupid shit he's doing now. You got that right, Keith. They all slipped their way to the top. And, now I'm realizing that both political parties are a farce. They're a sham. I used to not think that way. Who would I go on a date with? If I could take a time machine back into the whenever my younger self or 20-something-year-old self, well, let's see, Stacy Keebler, Linda Blair, Mariah Carey. I'm talking music, but all these people ask me random questions. I have to give my honest, candid assessment. Carrie Underwood's a hot-looking, beautiful woman, but she's now married. But she's married, and the only thing I can do is pray that she gets divorced someday. I don't want to pray about that either because I don't want to offend anyone with that sentiment. Yeah. Tiffany Stratton, yeah. But she's taken. But the only thing you can do is pray she breaks up with the dude one day. The Tyson and Paul fight rigged, yeah. Because it was Mike Tyson back in the day who would have knocked Logan Paul right on his ass. Stone Cold Steve Austin. I remember that. Stone Cold going out with Tyson. But then Tyson helped Stone Cold beat Shawn Michaels. The big double cross. The best double cross in history. Oh my God. Kelly Pickler wasn't a bad piece of ass either. Yeah. Or as Jesse Ventura called the Ultimate Warrior, the lunatic. Or as Bobby Heenan called him, the insane fool. Yeah. This guy's a lunatic. He's a nut. I don't know what asylum they let this guy out of, but he ain't got a full deck, no doubt about it. This guy's a lunatic. I don't like him. He goes by his own rules. Oh my God. The Ultimate Warrior. Yeah, that was one of my favorite pay-per-views, SummerSlam '89. The original airing with the board phone. As you know, the Ultimate Warrior. Fuck it. On my background, it's actually those are real Pink Floyd posters. Is there anybody out there? The Wall Live, Echoes, and a collage of 1977, 1980 photos of the band on stage. Yes, I'm a big Pink Floyd fan. And my favorite member, David Gilmour. And Richard Wright. Origins. Okay. Youngest of 8, autism spectrum disorder and not diagnosed. All in all, we're just another brick in the wall. You got that right. Mother, should I run for president? Mother, should I trust the government? I say, no way. God, I sound like Roger Waters when I say that. That's his new catchphrase about the government. Whenever people say, Mother, should I trust the government? Go, no fucking way. I'm half Irish, quarter German, quarter Blackfoot American. No, I'm not Italian, but I have a lot of it. My best woman friend is Italian, 90% Italian. Drop dead gorgeous, 2 years younger than me. You got that right, Keith. Screw the government. My favorite show would probably be South Park. Although there's some episodes I don't like, but the majority of what I've watched was hilarious. And one of my favorite cartoons was Garfield and Friends. Garfield. When it was Lorenzo Music, may he lay in peace, voicing that beloved cat. Yeah, that cartoon wouldn't even fly in today's environment. Someone's gonna swing for this. Maybe lightning will strike me and end this humiliation. Oh my God. That poor cat, man. Let's see. You like the trashiest band? There's so much better ones like AC/DC. AC/DC's good, but sometimes get a bit boring. Kiss, they're a good band, but they get a tad bit boring. Fuck Green Day. The lead singer's a sausage jockey piece of shit. Nirvana, they only lasted 3 albums. The only reason they're still held and relevant because their lead singer took the coward's way out. And you must be one of those fans who like C. Simpson. You must like Britney Spears, Justin Bieber, Katy Perry, Justin Timberlake, and who's that other sausage jockey? Oh yeah, Puff Daddy, whatever he calls himself. Slipknot, that's your prerogative. Looney Tunes was the GOAT. You got that right, Rick. My favorite cartoon characters: Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Yosemite Sam, Tasmanian Devil. I like them all. SES, SES. That's SOS, you jerk. SOS, whatever. Avast, you bad timber snaggle tooth vermin. Get on deck and load this cannon. Cut out the army talk. We're in the Navy. Howdy for howdy. You okay, boss? I found a treasure map. I'm rich. Woohoo! I'm comfortably well off. So we can get off the island, rodent. Okay, boss. Whatever. Roll faster, you stinking varmint, or I'll capsize. Slow down, slow down, slow down. You're gonna capsize us. You're gonna capsize the boat. C. Simpson. Metallica. Yeah. If you like Load, Reload, Saint Anger, get the hell off my feed. The first 5 minutes Megadeth albums are great. Sepultura was... haven't heard much of them. Pantera, the albums from 1990 onward were great. Corey Taylor's a hypocrite. He's friends with a guy from Green Day. Don't let him fool you, folks. Mel Blanc was the greatest voice actor of all time. Him and Lorenzo Music are my 2 favorite voice actors. It was a sad day when we lost both of them. And hard to believe Mel Blanc was doing Yosemite Sam's voice at 73 years old for the Daffy Duck Fantastic Island. Avast, you bad timber snaggletooth varmint. Get on deck and load this can. Cut out the army talk. We're in the Navy. You wharf rat. Oh my God. Guns N' Roses. They suck balls. And you probably suck your mom's... I can't say that. I'm going to sound like my old podcast. Fuck. Do I like Guns N' Roses? Fuck Guns N' Roses. And C. Simpson, why don't you go fuck your mother? Ask your mom. God, I sound like Ralph Vieira. And the king of... Well, Johnny Cash was rock and roll in the early days, C. Simpson, you retard. Stop brushing your teeth with a hammer, you son of a bitch. The Rick, I agree with you. If you ain't down with Cash, you go... Yeah, C. Simpson. You suck balls. Now get the fuck off my feed. To quote Ozzy Osbourne, why don't you get the fuck out of here? Hey, why'd you time out? Hey, what'd you do that for, Grey Wolf? I'm going to unban the Rick. Hang on. I'm going to pin the message. Yeah, the Rick, you're still there. I love that quote. You ain't down with Cash. C. Simpson, you're a loser. You gay ass hell talking about some balls. Yeah, C. Simpson, you're a loser. You're trolling me. You listen to music for men who have no life. If you're taking shots at Pink Floyd and Rush and Genesis and progressive rock, you're a pussy. Say it in my face, you little bitch. You probably voted for Kamala Harris, clown. I apologize. But when people like to provoke me, I have to say something. But I loved what the Rick had to say. But Grey Wolf, why did you have to time out the Rick? I'm going to see if I can get the Rick reinstated here. All right, hang on. You know, I'm going to make the Rick a moderator. You know why? Because he deserves it. Man, oh man. Let's see. C. Simpson. C. Simpson. To quote Cody Rhodes, go to hell, bitch. Screw you, Simpson. You're fired. Screw you, Simpson. You're fired. Man, oh man, oh man. God, I feel like Vince McMahon. God. So I had to fire him like Vince. You call me certain words, I fire your ass. Yeah. Well, Simpson, you fucked with the wrong guy. You got a friend of mine in trouble, so I had to unban the Rick. So the Rick stays. You ain't down with Cash. I love that quote. Johnny Cash for the win. And I love those American recordings that Rick Rubin produced. Delia, oh Delia, Delia all my life. Oh, the shop, poor Delia. I would have made her for my wife. Delia's gone. One more round. Delia's gone. Oh man, Rick Rubin was responsible for Johnny Cash's latter period renaissance before he died. God bless Rick Rubin. God love him. God bless Johnny Cash wherever he is. Evo Dallas. I lost my hair thin now when I was in my 20s. So it's either shave it all off and be proud of being no haired, or wear a wig and a piece and look like a complete buffoon. God. I mean, I had John Lennon moppish hair, but then I would have looked stupid with it thinning out as I got older. And then Blasem Reyes. Blasem Reyes. Take a walk, you troll from Abu Dhabi. You're not a real person, you're a bot. I'll go back to that hole in the world, wherever you're from. Middle Eastern place. God. I'm on a roll, folks. When I'm dealing with these ass wipes, the block and that's a new one I'm gonna use from this point forward. You ain't down with Cash, then you can go. Oh my God, that's funny. Oh my God, that's awesome. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. So far, I've been having a great live feed of this for 2 hours, trying to talk and promote the show here. Coming in at 2 hours and 20 minutes almost. Message hell for review. Who's this? Zaya, you shut up, bitch. Zaya, Isaiah, go fuck yourself, bitch. We have 34 likes. Can we get to 40? We'll see if I can keep on going. Can you do some Poppy Asmir? I don't know what Poppy Asmir is. This is some Middle Eastern bullshit because I cannot say that shit. There's a lot of assholes out there. We're trying to the core. Who gives a fuck what you think? God, I sound like Luther in 48 Hours. Who gives a fuck what you think? Man, Luther, you better tell this boy something you're having a ball with his car door. Luther, you angry with me. I don't know what you're smiling at, Watermelon. Your big move just turned out to big shit. Oh my God, that movie wouldn't even fly today. Yeah, 48 Hours. Oh my God. Yeah, some of the racist quotes in that movie. And to the core, go fuck yourself. Your ass is fired as of today. Oh, have mercy. Now, the more people tune on in, As long as I get the 40 likes and more subscribers, my ass would be happy. Let me plug in my phone here, because the Rick's quote there is what I have to say. You ain't down with cash, then you can go fuck yourself. I fucking love that one. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Let me see if I can keep going unless I start falling asleep here. Parrot Eater, good to see you back here. Been doing a lot of crazies tonight. Yeah, straight to the point and no holding our ass. The bottom line is, and this is the bottom line, as Stone Cold Steve Austin would say, excuse me, I'm unfiltered and I tell it like it is, or it was, or whatever. And kicking some people out, Ira Hayes is a great song. What the hell is Ira Hayes? That sounds like something from, I don't know, Shaft or something? Or is it Superfly? Yeah. By, who was it, dude? Curtis Mayfield. Freddy's Dead. That was another song he did. Yeah. The bottom line is this. Yeah, that was one of Eddie Van Halen's favorite quotes. Bottom line. Bottom line, Sammy Hagar's work ethic sucked. He didn't want to be a team player. If he was a team player, he'd be here, right now. He puts out a press statement saying, I quit. And then 2 days later said, I kicked him out. You got to stick to both stories, Sam? I'll take a lie detector. I sided with Eddie Van Halen to the end. You know why? Because Sammy Hagar is a lying sack of shit. Greece. It's a nice country, but I can't understand some of their language graphic thingies. Unless I apologize. I'm just starting to get a little sleepy here. But trying to talk more about music. What else is there to discuss? Oh, yes. More episodes coming. I have some, Van Halen. I have to re-upload the third Van Halen album, and Women and Children first. Oh, yeah. I better play that Johnny Cash tune. That was from back in the day. Slim Jim, get your R&B, hip-hop, pussy-ass shit off my feed. You know, where's the Ultimate Warrior to break you into two pieces? Oh, yeah. Puddles, speak English or get the fuck off my feed. I know I shouldn't swear. Oh, Slim Jim, go fuck your mother. I think Slim Jim's a 9-year-old posing as a 13-year-old. So kick him out too. Yeah, you're a 9-year-old Slim Jim. Don't bullshit me. I know you're a 9-year-old kid. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah. Finding the weeding out the dickheads. It's the way I like it. It's why I'm glad I have mods here to get the assholes out of here while I'm trying to talk some good rock and roll history here. And various other elements of my history. 4th of July week wasn't such a good week. I wasn't a fan of that Black Sabbath end thing either. I know a lot of Black Sabbath fans like, I'm like, Ozzy was a caricature of himself. It was pathetic. Him sitting in a chair was it was embarrassing. It was like watching Phil Collins in a chair in 2022 singing. That spark that it was in him in 2007 was gone. Because I saw Genesis in 2007 on the Turn On Again tour. And Phil was still vibrant, energetic, playing the drums. Thanks for having my back, Keith. I really appreciate that, man. Genesis were a phenomenal band. Saw that Turn On Again tour in 2007. That's how I tend to remember Genesis. And I prefer to remember Ozzy as I saw him in 2016 with Black Sabbath when Rival Sons opened up. That's how I want to remember Sabbath. Not for the not for the caricature that we saw on display Saturday. Sharon Osbourne ought to be ashamed of herself for that. Sharon Osbourne, she's the worst rock and roll manager out there. Her and her father, Arden, they were the devil, man. I swear, they had devil horns and tails. Yeah, Ira Hayes. I got to check that song out by Johnny Cash. Hunter, if you're really a rock music fan and you're not a kid, I'll give you a chance. But if you're one of those R&B hip hop fans trying to troll me and get a rise out of me, your ass will be thrown out. Comprende? Missy. Annie, you better be real. If not, leave. If you're not a rock music fan, leave. Trying to deal with all these people here. Trying to talk music, trying to talk positives, then you have to deal with these morons. As I'm classic rock, progressive rock, hard rock, traditional metal, that sort of thing. Classic rock, real music, not this hip hop BS that's out there, or that pop BS, which many of the pop artists now look like soft porn stars. Not that I have anything against pornography, because I don't, but you know how that is. Good. Bruce, I tell it like it should be. Music is supposed to be art, not showing how much cleavage you have. And Ariana Grande, she looks like she snorted tons of cocaine. That's why she's all thinned out, looking like a rail, and with too many tramp stamp Mickey Mouse ink jobs on her. No wonder the cocaine got to her, folks. Rolling Stones, one of the greatest bands out there in the world. My favorite Stones albums: Let It Bleed, Some Girls, and Tattoo You. My 3 favorite Stones albums, by the way. I'm also a fan of Goat's Head Soup. Yeah, it's only rock and roll. Black and Blue, side 1 was great. Side 2 had some songs that were But overall, a great record. Favorite Black Sabbath album? Well, spoiler, it's not with Ozzy. It's with Ronnie James Dio. And it's Heaven and Hell. Oh, well. Da-dun-da-da-dun. Fool, fool. Lady Evil. Evil, she's a magical, mystical woman. Long live Dio, man. He saved Black Sabbath. And what did Sharon Osbourne do to him? Cast him out of the picture. Stupid piece of shit. Dio saved Black Sabbath. And what thanks did he get? Kicked out. Heaven and Hell is my favorite Black Sabbath album. And that's one of my favorite songs from Black Sabbath, by the way. And yeah, Ariana Grande is 30, but she looks like she's 60 from chain smoking and drugs. Luke Ock, Ozzy turned Sabbath into a shit show with Never Say Die. Never Say Die was the worst Black Sabbath album, all right? Never Say Die was a band basically in the fucking toilet. Never Say Die, in fact, was their worst selling album here in the States. Technical Ecstasy didn't do any better, but that was before Never Say Die. You know, and to me, Heaven and Hell, top to bottom, was the best album they did since Sabotage. Annie, I've been talking almost 3 hours about music and classic rock, so I know quite a bit. Plus, I have episodes up on various bands, so I know a thing or two, or 10, or 30. Michael, how's it going, eh? Why don't you go out and meet someone? Luke Opp, Never Say Die sucks. It should have been an EP. Even Pete Pardo can tell you. Never Say Die is the worst piece of shit Black Sabbath ever made. I mean, the oldest rock band I know. The Beatles, 1963, band that made writing your own music and playing your own instruments cool. Yeah. Volume 4 has 2 songs I don't like. Effects, and I don't like Laguna Sunrise. Especially when Keith Moon roasted the damn thing. Because when you hear Laguna Sunrise, you hear poetry cornered, and when I look upon your face, I would that we were in some place where you could be my pet, my dove. So live with me and be my vole. Vole, hang on. Be my pet, hang on, vole. That can't be right. I can hear Keith Moon doing poetry over that. Oh my God. Yeah. King Crimson's Red, underappreciated album. All right, Keith, stay safe. Return. And get Puff Daddy off my fucking feed, because Puff Daddy sucks balls. Puff Daddy. Pedophile. Pervert. Scumbag. There's a reservation in hell for his sorry ass with Michael Jackson. England, the home of the greatest rock and roll bands that ever existed. I know it originated in America, but I love England. I wanted to go to England, see Abbey Road, Earl's Court, Britannia Row. Unfortunately, that place doesn't exist anymore. Abbey Road Studios, Battersea Power Station, the Astoria, which is David Gilmour's houseboat. So many rock and roll landmarks there. Hard to believe they're knocking many of them down. Would have loved to have seen the old Wembley Stadium. Milton Keynes Bowl. Rapids is an abomination. You got that right. Excuse me. My favorite Sabbath album with Ozzy is Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. And Sabotage. Favorite Motorhead album? Probably either Ace of Spades or, I believe, Bomber. Yeah. But the Twisted... Yeah. But yeah, the problem... But here's the thing, Bruce, about Eminem. He's the master of dishing shit out at people. But when you dish back at him, he runs home with his tail between his legs like a little bitch. Because he had a reputation of making fun of people and but then Weird Al did a parody of him. He's like, okay, you can do it, but don't do a video. Eminem has no sense of humor. It was all a ruse. He goofed on Moby. Moby goofed back at him. Eminem threatened physical violence and slammed down a puppet at the 2002 MTV Video Music Awards. I was like, yep, he can dish out at people, but when people dish back at him, he gets all offended like a little bitch. Yeah. I mean, in some of the topics he's done, I'm like, hey, Pink Floyd did that on the Wall album. And much better. I mean, to Roger Waters' defense, he didn't have a problem with his mom. He wrote a fictional song about he wrote a song about an imaginary mother that was overprotective and bad. It's called Literary Art. But Roger Waters did grow up without a father. His father died as a soldier fighting the Nazis in World War II. May Eric Waters lay in peace. Do I like Creed? Hell no. Creed. Capital S, capital H, capital I, capital T. Scott Stapp is a hypocritian cunt. Pardon my French. And people will, my favorite Genesis album, I'll be shot in the head for saying this, but I'm on record for it. Abacab. Yeah. I do love the Peter Gabriel era, but Phil Collins was amazing. Melvins, Motorhead, and Metallica. Oh, man. I think you're like 9-hour difference from me, Futuristic. That was probably the end of the And Justice for All, towards the beginning of the And Justice for All tour you saw them, Bruce. Bless your heart, man. Motorhead I saw in 95 when they went back to being a 3-piece. and I lost my hearing for 3 days. Saw Metallica last year at Gillette Stadium. They kicked a lot of ass. Cirith Ungol. Who in the blue hell is Cirith Ungol? This is some things I have PTSD about. Yeah, you're in Maryland. Maryland. Robert Plant called it Maryland. Good evening, Maryland. Oh my God. Now Robert Plant, he rivaled Frank Sinatra in the Poontang department. Good old Percy, Robert Plant. He had some. I mean, he was a great egg. I love Robert Plant. It's a shame that his son died while he was on tour with Zeppelin in '77, and he couldn't escape the rock star temptations of the groupies and drugs. Cirith Ungol, never heard of them. Lara 99, am I a hillbilly? Fuck no. Fuck no, I'm not a hillbilly. Oh, big old dig. Go fuck yourself. I don't like Miley the cokehead Cyrus, that bitch. Fucking hypocritical skank she is. Besides, who would ever want to look at that hillbilly redneck bitch? Especially if her father was the ace of spades, Billy Ray Cyrus. Yeah, a lot of people thought when Billy Squire's Don't Say No album came out, they thought it was a new Led Zeppelin record. They thought Lonely as the Night was a Led Zeppelin track. Oh my God. Yeah, because after Zeppelin broke up, you had Def Billy Squire with Don't Say No and Emotions in Motion, Def Leppard with Pyromania, although the first, Yngwie Malmsteen. His guitar playing is an acquired taste. It's like hearing a bee when you pour water on it. Ding, ow! Because I'd rather hear a simple guitar solo that just hits you right square in the heart than to hear a million notes that sound like an angry bee. You just want to shoot that thing. Shut up. Yeah, I got that from Gene Simmons, A Kiss. Yeah. A lot of people thought Lunatic Fringe by Red Rider was Pink Floyd and Tom Petty. Or Pink Floyd featuring Tom Petty on vocals. The rest of that album was great, though. It's a very eclectic band they were. The title track, Cowboys from Hong Kong, that was another good song on As Far as Siam. Then the following album, Neruda, which is my favorite Red Rider album. Light in the Tunnel, Human Race. Napoleon Sheds His Skin, Can't Turn Back. A lot of great numbers on that album. Side 1 alone of Neruda makes that album an amazing album. Dolby, if you're a music fan, welcome aboard. Well, Bridger, that's subjective to opinion because some people will say otherwise, but the Beatles were the one that made rock and roll very important. Am I a musician? Drums, percussion, guitars, keyboards, bass guitar, I can play it all. I can't play any horns, though. Yeah, the Dark Side of the Moon tour, 1973, 74. Yeah, the 73 tour, of Dark Side of the Moon, was incredible. Yeah. Yeah, so people think Tom Cochrane was a one-hit wonder. Well, Album Rock Radio says different. Because I don't go by the pop charts. I go by album rock tracks. I'm like, wait a cotton-picking minute. Red Rider wasn't just Lunatic Fringe. They had Human Race, Light in the Tunnel, Napoleon Sheds His Skin, Power, Strength, and Numbers, the album from '84, which I forgot. It's on the tip of my tongue. Then Boy Inside the Man was a hit in 1986. So yeah, they were very big on rock radio, and MTV played the piss out of them back in the day. Rush. After Pink Floyd, my other favorite band. Chicago, they were great up to Chicago Hot Streets, and I actually enjoy 16 because Toto were some of the musicians on that album. Killer. Metallica in Moscow was only 15 years old. I couldn't go even when I wanted to back then. TY1 Eagle, my favorite guitarist, David Gilmour. If it wasn't for Gilmore, I would have given up guitar playing because when I saw that I couldn't play like Eddie Van Halen, I then heard pulled out some of the Pink Floyd albums I had, and I was like, "Sheesh, Gilmore can play the way I can play. The whammy bar, it's just the emotional feel he has. Plus the fact he uses a lap steel when he does slide guitar stuff. Yeah, Rob Halford of Judas Priest, one of the best singers in the history. Lou, people considered Pink Floyd. Well, Pink Floyd had 2 top 20 hits: Money in 1973 and Another Brick in the Wall in 1980. So they were two top 40 hits in their entire career. But they had 5, not 1, not 2, but 5 #1 albums in the States. Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, which is my favorite Pink Floyd album, The Wall, The Division Bell, which is my second favorite Pink Floyd album, and Pulse, which is my favorite live album. Lou, you got that right. Hendrix only had 1 top 20 hit, but all 3 of his albums went top 5 in his lifetime, or all 5 of them, I should say. Rush were a one-hit wonder on the pop charts, but sold millions of albums. Well, Animals, I considered the first unofficial Roger Waters solo album. Here's why: because Roger was treating Rick Wright like shit. Midnight Lightning from Hendrix. No, I have his 3 studio albums, Band of Gypsies and Cry of Love and Woodstock and Monterey. Yeah, Dark Side of the Moon has been on the charts for like 960 some odd weeks. Hasn't been on the charts for a while. Yeah, I just listened to Band of Gypsies just a few days ago. Machine Gun, amazing. Bass player. Here's an underrated pick, but he's my favorite bass player. John Deacon from Queen. His favorite bass player? Chris Squire of Yes. So if Chris Squire influenced you, that meant your biggest influence was Chris Squire. That's props right there, man. And I'll tell you who my favorite keyboard player of all time is. And people may shoot me for this. Dennis DeYoung, the same guy from Styx. He is the master. He was the American version of Keith Emerson and John Lord and Jimmy Smith. Hammond organ, but also, yeah, John Paul Jones, multi-instrumentalist. He's my favorite multi-instrumentalist is John Paul Jones. He didn't just play bass guitar, but he also played keyboards, recorder, which is a little flute type thing you blow into. John Lord's an organist. In fact, John Lord was an influence on Dennis DeYoung. Favorite Led Zeppelin album? I have an episode on it already. Presence. Yeah, it started with Presence and I jumped backwards. My second favorite is 3. Go figure. The 2 lowest selling Led Zeppelin albums are my favorite. Steve Winwood's a good keyboard player, but he hasn't gone to like piano. I never heard him play the piano, whereas T for One, masterpiece. Dennis DeYoung started as an accordion player, taught himself organ, taught himself piano, taught himself synthesizer. In fact, John Lord and Keith Emerson were his biggest influences on keyboards. Steve Winwood's an okay organist, but compared to John Lord or Keith Emerson or Dennis DeYoung, forget it. Those 3 have him. Yeah. And Led Zeppelin never played Out on the Tiles live, except for the intro for Black Dog and the intro for John Bonham's drum solo on the 1977 tour, Over the Top. Houses of the Holy. I love that album. I even love the crunge. Yeah, the James Brown thing. Oh, Iron Butterfly. I only know. Song Remains the Same is my other favorite live album of all time, Opie's. And I first got that for my 10th birthday in January 1986. Jody DeFrancesco. Yeah, it's a true story, Opie's. And you know what got me into Led Zeppelin, right? Live Aid. Everyone's like, oh, Zeppelin were horrible at Live Aid. No, Jimmy Page's guitar was going through a flanger. That's why the guitar sound was, because it was going through a flanger. And Robert Plant struggling on Rock and Roll's the first song was not new either. Watch song remains the same. He couldn't hit the notes like on the original recording. The live no quarter on the original album, epic. I didn't like the fact that they cut a minute and a half out of the guitar solo for the remixed, remastered version, so it's good to have both versions of the album. The original song remains the same. Also has the full Whole Lot of Love in it. Led Zeppelin 2 is a great album as well. That was actually the first Zeppelin album I heard as a kid. Zeppelin 4 was the second I heard. My third older sister have it. Physical Graffiti is a great record. Miles Davis was a great jazz musician, a big influence on Rick Wright of Pink Floyd, so I got to give him his props. His jazz fusion albums, slowly getting into them, but Kind of Blue, great jazz. And that's where that chord for Breathe came from, was Miles Davis. Yeah, Roy Harper. Zeppelin were big Roy Harper fans, as was Pink Floyd. In fact, Roy Harper is forever immortalized on Pink Floyd's Wish You Were Here album. He sang lead vocal on Have a Cigar because David Gilmour and Roger Waters couldn't sing it. So Roy Harper went in and sang, "Come in here, dear boy, have a..." Actually, Looser was Robert Plant who played all the harmonica stuff. ZZ Top Eliminator. I agree. That was actually the first ZZ Top album I ever heard as a kid. My other favorite is Fandango, and my other favorite is Di Quello from 1979. Yeah. So Roy Harper went in, knocked the vocal out in either one or two takes, and that's what you got on the record. Roger Waters still hates Roy Harper for singing Have a Cigar. David Gilmour on the other end's like, hey, he did a great job. And then Roger had to learn how to sing it for the Animals tour properly. David Gilmour and Rick Wright Echoes. One of the best Floyd songs of all time. Yeah, and the last the version on Pompeii tops from Live at Pompeii. My second favorite, Live in Gdansk 2008, Gilmour and Rick Wright Live in Gdansk, which turned out to be the last performance ever of Echoes. No, it was a cover of a Sonny Boy. I'll have to talk to JCMC who played harmonica on Bring It On Home. He'll believe it's Robert Plant. Others will say it's Sonny Boy Williamson. The jury will remain out. The Doors, of course. L.A. Woman, one of my favorite albums. The first album, amazing. Jimbo. I even love that poetry album. My favorite drummer, Neil Peart, and John Bonham, and Phil Collins. So I have three favorite drummers. Yeah, because Rick Wright passed on. Rick Wright passed away. He had to retire Echoes. And then Geddy, Alex, and Neil retired. Well, Geddy and Alex retired performing certain Rush tunes because of Neil. Because when Neil Peart passed away, that was it. Favorite Doors song, 5-1. Good one. In fact, if you saw the final Rambo movie, that's the perfect song to kill a drug cartel to. Amy, I disagree. No offense, but it was sad to see Ozzy that way. Because I'd rather remember him for how he was. To quote Neil Peart, sadder still to watch it die than ever to have known it. So and Neil knew when to quit. In fact, he retired a year before he got cancer. That was in 2015. So he retired when he realized he physically couldn't do it anymore. And then the last 3.5 years of his life, he dealt with cancer. He was diagnosed a year into his retirement. What a pooping way to celebrate your retirement by getting ill. DJ Spam, get your hip-hop R&B ass off my feed. Bruce Taylor, Bill Bruford, phenomenal drummer. Those early Yes albums, especially Close to the Edge and Fragile, amazing. And his work on Chris Squire's Fish Out of Water, also amazing. Oh, man. I'm a fan of Bill Bruford. Great drummer. And he even played on Steve Howe's first solo album. Yeah. You got that right, Lou. It was all about money. A money-making grab for Sharon, so she could live off of his money for her Botox. Where's Peter Grant and Steve O'Rourke when you need them? They were the two greatest rock and roll managers that ever walked. Oh yeah, one's dead. They're both dead. Grant died in '95 of a heart attack, and O'Rourke died in '03 from a stroke. Seems like the good ones die before their time, and the evil managers live forever. Man, oh man. Yeah, Smoke on the Water. Yeah, Beethoven Fifth played backwards. And then, of course, Man on the Silver Mountain. Yeah, fuck Lamar. Fuck rap. Get that shit off my feed. Yeah. Bruce, the Lamar edit sounds like Kendrick Lamar's bitch, if you ask me. Yeah. I don't get it. Oh, one of those posthumous thank you, Keith, for getting rid of that prick. Yeah, I'll check it out on one of those post I haven't heard many of those post Hendrix death, except for Cry of Love, of course. Yeah, Kendrick Lamar, his fan base were all a bunch of morons. Hey, Kendrick Lamar, yo, what's up? Grow the fuck up. Bill Ward, amazing bass player. I mean, amazing drummer. Sorry, I'm a little tired. But he needed to keep that shirt on. I swear he looked like something that Pat Patterson would have had intercourse with. Pat Patterson was that guy in WWE. And when an elderly guy takes his shirt off, it's disgusting. God. Keep your shirt on, Bill. My God, you look like you're pitching for the wrong team, dude. No offense. Frungley, that's not neo-Nazi. It's just, I'm doing this. That's not neo-Nazi. I'm doing this. Favorite bass player already said it was John Deacon of Queen. Iggy Pop. How him and Ace Frehley and Keith Richards outlived Lemmy, I'll never know. Frungley, thank you for setting the record straight. Paul McCartney's a great bass player. John Entwistle. Yeah, you got that right. Yeah, Iggy Pop needs to keep his shirt on now at his age. Because that, elderly guys taking their shirts off, it's like disgusting. All I can hear is Jim Ross going, "Oh my God, don't do it. My God, no. He's single, fellas." Oh my God, that's funny. Yeah, making fun of Pat Patterson's sexuality, of course. Oh, good thing you said my voice is getting a little hoarse. Keith, thanks for reminding me. To quote Dennis DeYoung, I'm parched. Domo. I hope I sound better now. Mammoth. Mammoth are okay. Yeah, NWA was pretty angry, but NWA was also funny. NWA was comedy rap. Dasani. I used to drink Dasani. It's now Poland Spring. But I have to watch how much I drink because I'll be up peeing till wee hours of the morning. But I can do sips here and there. I didn't expect to be doing a 3-hour live video, ladies and gentlemen, either. But I have props to do it. Bottoms up. Excuse me. Yeah, Pantera are a great band. Lou, Tommy, and Dennis were both equally good. They were the American Lennon McCartney. You take away either of them, it's just really not Styx. because, thank you very much, Amy. I appreciate that. It's just Tommy and Dennis, they got along great. All that crap you saw in the behind the music was a bunch of bullshit. It was a big lie and a half. Excuse me. Tommy was angry that he was forced to finish a Styx album because the record company wanted him to finish it. After Dennis said he didn't want to do a tour so he could get his strength back. You know, it's a simple request. I mean, look at Phil Collins when his first marriage went to shit. He went to Tony Banks and Mike Rutherford and said, "Guys, look, my marriage is going to shit. Can I, move to Canada? You guys stay here. I move to Canada. We still be a band." And to Tony Banks and Mike Rutherford's credit, they're like, "Okay, Phil, you take a few months. Well, you go ahead, you sort out your marriage. We'll go we'll go off and do solo albums." When Rick Allen lost his arm in Def Leppard, they didn't even think of replacing him. Exactly. And on top of that, David Gilmour was against Richard Wright being kicked out of Pink Floyd. Most people don't know that, but I'm like, Gilmour did not support Roger's decision to kick Rick out because David and Rick went out for dinner after Roger did the stunt, and David said, "Look, you haven't done much on the recording of The Wall. However, you're a founding member of this band. Your position in this band is important. You're our keyboard player. You're very important to this band. And if you're not going to leave the band, I'm going to support your decision to stay in Pink Floyd." And then Rick thought about it for a while, and he was like, "Well, as much as I want to stay with David and Nick, I don't want to deal with Roger anymore. So I'll finish the album, do the live Wall concerts," and he left. Then when Waters left, Rick Wright came back. DeYoung and Shaw, they needed each other because, it just wasn't the same, after Dennis DeYoung got sick. In fact, Dennis DeYoung refused to replace Tommy Shaw when Tommy quit the band in 1984. Bruce, Paul Rogers is the man. I did a Bad Company episode on Run with the Pack, by the way. Go back a few episodes, you'll see it. Run with the Pack, favorite Bad Company album. And there is no Bad Company without Paul Rogers. I don't like that 80s Brian House shit. That was just as bad as Sammy Hagar replacing David Lee Roth, if you ask me. Yeah. Paul Rogers, David Lee Roth, Glenn Shark. Those three guys were the voices of Bad Company, Van Halen, and the Little River Band. Once they were replaced, those bands went to crap. Glenn Shark, the guy that sang the vocals on all the Little River Band hits, except for the Night Owls, but he did every other one of them. It's a Long Way There, Help Is on Its Way. Well, actually, Lou, Rick and David each did solo albums in 1978. They both put solo albums out practically at the same time. They were actually neighbors in Greece, by the way. So they hung out all the time. It's just, I think Roger, on the other hand, who thought he was Pink Floyd. Lou, I agree with you. Roger made up some of these bullshit stories about David and Rick. It's just Roger was holding their ideas back, going back to the Animal sessions. Because David, during Animals, his wife had their first daughter, so he had to put recording the album on hold so he could spend time with the wife and the baby. Rick Wright was, having ideas rejected by Roger. And then Rick wound up quitting Pink Floyd for 2 days in 1977 because of Roger. Roger shaming him on stage, as a matter of fact, in America. So Rick had to fly all the way back to England with manager Steve O'Rourke chasing him down saying, No, Rick, don't leave. I'll try and talk to Roger and we'll work things out. So then, 78, Wright and Gilmour each did solo albums. Van Hagar, or as my former podcast called it, Vangina. That was a great, yeah, Eddie Van Halen put Bumblebee guitar into Dimebag's coffin. That was a good thing Eddie Van Halen did. I miss King Edward. And if you'd like, folks, I want to do this for Eddie Van Halen after 3 hours. If I get near 50 in the next few minutes, cheers. What's my favorite MLB team? You're looking at it. Boston Red Sox. Julian, I'm not smoking shit. Marijuana leads to cocaine, leads to crystal meth, leads to meth, ecstasy, etc., etc., etc. Favorite investment stock? I don't invest in shit. I'd rather fall flat on my ass than do any of that crap. It looks like my voice is starting to go. Yeah. As soon as I get to 50 likes, folks, I'm going to have to stop because my voice is starting to get me all... my voice is starting to go. Well, the Yankees are falling fast. Toronto's now in first place. The Rays and the Red Sox are catching up rather quick. The AL East is getting red hot. The Yankees. Fuck the Yankees. Then again, I say that all the time because I'm a Red Sox nerd. Yeah, the Yankees may have been the team of the 20th century, but to steal from King Crimson and ELP, they're 21st century choke artists. Da 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 dun dun da. Excuse me. Yeah, the Rays went to the big dance one time and they sadly choked to the Momo. It's rock and roll we're trying to talk about here. And trying to plug my new episode on Queen's The Game album. Neo, some people can, others can't. If you're born with a pre-genetic disposition to drugs, marijuana is not good. Some people can do it, but then others can't do it. That's the thing. Andy Peacock, go screw your mother up the ass. Man, oh man. Let me know when we get to 50, folks, because I'm starting to get a little fatigued. Lou. Roger was a great lyricist and concept guy for many years, but then after Pros and Cons, he got stifled on the same topics. And then he was usurped as he used to be my favorite lyricist, then he got usurped by a certain Canadian guy named Neil Peart. Neil was the man. Neil could write lyrics about anything. Many of my favorite Neil lyrics were, Neo, if you hit 50, I appreciate that so I can finally, thank you. So since I'm now at 50 likes and more subscriptions, I'm going to have to finally stop because my voice is starting to go on me. I apologize, folks. I could go on for hours, but I listened to Keith. Elvis was the man. He was the king. I defend him on my Queen episode. Check it out now. Episode 24, Queen the Game. And if you're not 18 or older, this channel is not for you. You got that right, bro. And I'm going to check out that Hendrix album. I'll order on Amazon in a few days. Thanks for the tip. Thank you all for watching. My voice is just about gone. I'll be back in a few nights, Lou. Check out the new episode, Queen the Game, Flash Gordon, episode 24. Thank you very much, everyone. You rock, you rule. Good night. Don't let assholes bring you down. I love you all. Good night. Thanks, Keith. Good night, all. God bless you.